going to feel okay again. It's kind of,
Sorry.
oh, you're good. And it's kind of like, um, that you are going to be good in a sense. You know that you are
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to not only get past it, but you will become better in the process. And I think I don't know. I think it's kind of like a combination of all of that, just because of as we've kind of discussed, kind of not discussed because you weren't here last week. I did quite. I mean, there was quite a few things that were dealt with in the past couple weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, I'm dropping my own project. And on top of that, I'm a part of these other projects um, that I'm also trying to balance, and it's a lot of stuff. Like, and what's ironic is like my particular project is probably the last thing I'm thinking about and the last thing I'm worried about. Whereas like the other things are like much more on the forefront. Um, and and then at the same time, I'm like working on new things. I'm always making new shit. It's just like a bunch of stuff. But I'll say that I think that all kind of boils down to um like a new type of energy, maybe, as you were saying, but it's all based on the idea that you only can do as much as you can, and then afterwards, no matter what, that you're going to end up being better on the other end, regardless of an outcome, regardless if you got your point across, regardless if you've made a change in other people's lives or your own. It's just like no matter what, it's just all part of the process. And I think this partially has to do with the fact that I haven't smoked weed like I usually do, which is pretty much all day, every day. And I haven't done that for about a month now. And I think that's pretty crucial. It's really, really altered my energy level. I'm high octane. And I mean, maybe I'm a little calmer today because I've had a few sandwiches and I'm nice and comatose. Um, and so that's maybe part of it as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know
No,
if that gives any insight.
absolutely, and I think it makes sense in what I hear when I say it's neither I don't feel if it's negative or positive. It's definitely because I feel like it's a mix of both, where the the positive is, kind of the adopting the I don't give a fuck, where you feel even more confident into what you believe, into what you do, into what you've done, into how things have played out during the past 2 years, and so being confident, whether it has been by helping other or moving your own thing forward. I definitely feel the same toward my journey, but at the same time, it is balanced with so much bullshit we've seen and some hard stuff to digest on, because it's really some mental mess that I would add the word puzzle on top of it. So mental health, mental mess puzzles that can sometimes go very deep. And for one individual to, get the full picture, the big picture, understand it, and look in the mirror through those type of experiences and stuff, can really hit back hard on oneself. And not everyone stands up after these kinds of mess. So
Mm.
I feel you strong right now, like you said, like being able to kill anybody tomorrow, in a metaphoric way, and I can relate to that as well. But yeah, maybe it is that, and the combination, maybe the weed as well. I don't know. I should try that definitely at some point. But
It's tough. It was tough. It was tough. I mean, like, dude, the first week, you can't really sleep that well. You're just so hectic mentally because you're just so used to getting high and just letting your highness kind of dictate your energy, which I genuinely do think that it helps me in a lot of ways. But whenever I'm dealing with a bunch of things at once, which, the last month or two it's been quite hectic for me, project wise, just like workload wise, and perhaps that's my own decided, um, like um, like what I've decided to do. But ultimately though, um, but yeah, I don't know. It just worked out like that, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be getting super fucking high during this World Cup coming up. I mean, that's no doubt. So I mean, maybe I'm gearing up for that too. But but yeah, I like what you said. Not a lot of super negative things can not a lot of people can really take the hits
Hmm.
and just get right back up. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I don't need reminded of that, but anytime it does occur, I just know like I'm better than everybody. And no, I'm kidding, but like I'm not. Like,
No,
and what I mean
it feels like we're made for that in a sense. I definitely go
exactly.
through that, even though it can be the hardest possible. I mean, unless I end up in the street homeless, and even in that situation, like I always kind of pictured myself, if that had to happen to me one day, I always thought that I still do have my mind being able to think music, to think or to imagine or to create or to whatever. So I'm blessed. I'm not in this situation right now, but I always was in that mindset where I know every day that this could happen to me, and that even if it happened, like the mind is stronger. I wouldn't let my mind go down. So I so the flame, turn off. I don't know how to say, but yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, you never want to take that energy for granted. Like, I definitely never want to like
Mhm.
look in the mirror and be like, yeah, you better get up. But like, it's kind of like I'm always. It's like I don't know. It's like part of like it's just part of like how I naturally feel about things and how I naturally move, maybe. But it's a great thing though to know that yeah, like I do feel like I'll speak for myself, but like I definitely do feel like I'm built for that. I'm built for this. But then again, I knew this, right? Like I don't think anybody really understands that like before Web3, I was dealing with, in my opinion, much more difficult things. And
Mhm.
the reason why I found Web3, and maybe that first year of Web3 was like really difficult because I hadn't done anything really other than just kind of like, we did the show, I did a lot of things, but I hadn't really ever dropped anything particularly for myself, or I really wasn't a part of too many too many projects that like really were like doing anything of super value for myself. But at the end of the day, you know, this is like this is the thing that's kind of re reignited a lot of the energy of like just keeping everything going. But the before this, I had a much more difficult decision, and it looked much worse in the sense that if I at the time and after I made my decision, it felt like I made the wrong decision. It felt like I was completely beat. It felt like there was no way out. I felt like I had to just keep fighting, but I was completely in the dark. There wasn't a single shred of hope. But that's why I made the music I did, and that's why it's all coming out now in the way that it is. And I feel like that's kind of the whole storyline of the music and the projects that I'm doing now is to tell that story to then take it to another place. And I think that's kind of no matter so it's kind of like no matter what happens in any regard. And I know we're being vague and everybody's like, "Well, what are you even fucking talking about?" But like I think like yeah, like no matter what were to occur between either of us, it's like we've already been through so many things that I mean, you really can't stop me. I'm fucking unstoppable. And not only that, when I come back, I'm even better and I'm more dangerous and I'm more willing to fucking stab you with a knife, metaphysically and not physically, because that's a threat. I'm joking. No, no stabbing. Call me a raging tits. I'm joking.
Yeah, but I
And by
definitely
the way, I'm
feel
not
you.
high. No, I'm not high, Dragon. For the record.
Definitely feel you on that, because that was exactly the feel I had before discovering NFTs and stuff, where everything was dark and there was no issue into how to deal with the situation, and continuing to create and to um, art for a living. And so yeah, I don't know where I want to go with that, but it's just that feeling is very real. Like that is still of my motivations today to do something, to use Web3 to a purpose and not just for uh, the hype of it or anything. But yeah, but I don't know, what have you done this week when I was sun gazing? And by the way, I was re-listening to all these demos I exported from those past month, and I started to identify which ones are the best, or this kind of stuff. I don't know if you listened to a few or not yet, but
I've been really stuck. I've been not stuck, but I've been really focused on the one. I only did like a couple passes on it because I was like in recording mode the other day, and
mhm.
I didn't lay anything enough to send it, but I'm definitely on my way. There will be. I only need one more session with it, but no, I haven't listened to more of the demos, but I'm
No,
very
that's
excited.
cool. No problem.
The first one though, the first one, it's going to be a smasher. I don't know exactly how much of a smasher. I can't say that just yet, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be ridiculous. I don't know though, because the beat's ridiculous. I love the sound of it. It's just so unique, and it allows me to kind of like do my thing. And I know that the way it sounds like from a timbre point of view is super interesting, and I think that that's going to enable very unique finalization, I guess you could say. Like once the melody and the song is there, it'll sound very unique with the palette that is there, and I think that's what I'm excited for, particularly with the one that I've already kind of like started a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean I'm hyped.
Yeah,
But other
I'm definitely teased, and but yeah, no, I'm more or less curious if you have listened to other, not necessarily to work on that, but just curious to share my work and just to have feedbacks and listen. But I definitely understand if you are like focused on one, do how you feel, and I don't want to disturb
I
any
mean,
of your process.
oh no, no, no. Dude, my process is very much so, as much as it's individual, I do enjoy the idea of collaboration. What I think a lot of people, particularly people close to me, don't understand is or maybe they do understand, but maybe I have to clarify sometimes. When I'm working with people, I always ask for opinions, but I actually don't give a fuck. And like that might sound really like contradictory. And like what I mean by that is like, even for, dude, this is hilarious. Is like because I literally asked you for your opinion the other day, and you did basically you were like, no, I don't like it, or you didn't say you didn't like it, but you were like, I don't think it needs that, and I was like,
Mhm.
we had a little back and forth, not even like a debate, but I was kind of just like, well, I'm gonna keep it anyways, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
and I was totally okay and in agreement
right,
with
right,
that,
right.
because
No,
I know about it, and I was just yeah, curious about the back and forth and the feeling I had on the moment. But I mean, I enjoyed what you created, and I definitely agree on the fact that you know should keep it. But yeah, never mind. Like my feedback, and I can definitely relate to that as well. Where I'm listening, but I will definitely do what I want to do, and whatever is the feel of the moment. You know, so I
yeah, yeah,
understand that.
basically. Yeah, right, exactly, and I knew you would. And you're not the only person that, like honestly, in the last week, I've worked on a few things with a few people, and there have been moments where, I'll ask for an opinion, and, I don't know what it is, but, like, sometimes when you ask someone for their opinion, they feel as if their opinion's, like, really gonna influence you,
Hmm.
and then they're offended when you don't take their opinion.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and by the way, I mean, this literally is not about you. It's not about you, like at all. Like, because we had this debate, and it was very healthy, and I knew that it wouldn't be the case. But like, there was a few people that I had conversations with regarding songs that I was working on with them, or this, that, or the other, or just random things. And I love hearing other people's opinion, but I feel as if I use it just to kind of like gauge my own opinion more. It really has nothing to do with what they want or what they think. It has more to do with like how I feel
Yeah,
about my own opinion, and
totally
and it
understand that. Yeah,
right, and it, maybe it's a bit selfish, but it's kind of like, it's probably like how it's probably kind of, I don't know. I don't want to like assume. I don't want to like make too much of as an assumption here, but I feel like it's probably similar to how anybody is whenever they ask someone like, "Oh, how do I look?" Like most likely they already know how they look, and most likely they already kind of feel either good or bad about the way that they look. And at that point in time when they're asking like, "Oh, how do I look?" It's not even like your opinion is going to affect them. It's just kind of like a moment of validation or invalidation, and then they're gonna kind of keep going with whatever they went with, but it might just impact the way they feel about it. And I actually feel if you're confident and it's not maybe the best it can be, I actually feel like you can learn just as much from going forward with it as you can from
yeah,
really listening and taking somebody else's advice, because I feel like that's kind of the game in a way of understanding like is this piece of advice actually going to is this piece of advice something I really want to shift my whole game plan for, or am I just listening to it and seeing like what do they think, because everybody's perspective is different, and certain people's perspectives are unique and certain people's perspectives are more broad, and as long as the asker is aware of who they're asking and why they're asking it, I think the answer is almost irrelevant, because
hmm,
I think if you really know, like I won't even ask if I don't want you to say an answer, right? Like
hmm,
what I mean by that is like if I am afraid of you saying you don't like it, or I'm afraid of somebody telling me no or yes, depending
hmm,
on what it is, I won't even ask.
yeah,
Like when I'm asking, at that point I'm already confident with it, and I'm kind
yeah,
of just seeing like what are they going to say about it. And I think that's a very interesting distinction of like of being, and I think every creator can probably relate to this. I don't think this is unique to myself. I just think that it can be misinterpreted though, particularly when you like ask a group of people, you know, how do you feel about this? And then they tell you and they all might even agree, but you're just like, well, okay, like I don't care. And that's very interesting. I
hmm,
think if you're not aware of like how that person's really thinking, because it has nothing to do with the other people, it has nothing to do with like another individual, it has completely to do with myself when I'm asking somebody else what they think, and their answer has very little to do with them. It has much more to do with just how I'm interpreting what they're saying. So I don't know if that made
absolutely.
any yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but
Yeah, totally, totally makes sense. I totally relate to that as well. I mean, regarding the different profiles I know around me, when I want to a friend to listen to something, or in general, I already know and kind of expecting an answer, and most of the time, it turns out right. But it's exactly what you said. Like, I know someone who is really, kind of mainstream thinking. Some other people that are at the total opposite. And when I ask the same thing to the two different people, I mean, I know what to expect. And if one of them say no, most of the time I was expecting them to answer no, I don't like, or whatever. And even sometimes I'm, they, how to say, I expect them to not like, and when they don't like, I'm like, okay, where that's what I wanted, kind of. So that's
dude, well, what's interesting, to be transparent, when I asked you to listen to the verse,
mhm,
when I sent it, I didn't know what you would say, but I had a very big hunch that you were going to be like, I don't think it needs this.
mhm,
And that's pretty much exactly what you stated. I
yeah,
mean, was something along those lines, but like, and that was because I knew that you were used to it. And if it
mhm,
was like what's great though is to clarify my own questioning. I showed the only other person that has listened to my unreleased music as much as you, and that's one of my friends from home, and he was
mhm,
there when I made this song. Like I'm talking 3 years ago in my garage when I originally made this song. He was there, And if anybody was gonna be like, "Don't fucking add that verse," and
Mm.
me listen to it, it would have been him. But I knew he would like it, and I played it for him, and he's like, "Bro, if this isn't good, I'm fucking out." And as soon as it came in, he's like, "Play that back." Like, and I was like, "Let's go." And so it was interesting because I knew on one level, and it wasn't like I thought that you want. It was actually like my whole thought process about that to particular verse that I added to it, because it's so long. Like after 3 years, like how do you add a verse to a song? You
Mhm.
know, that's really hard to do
Yeah.
because you really are gonna change up, like especially like the writing style, the vocal mixing, my delivery. They're way different. Like it literally almost sounds like a different person on the song. It doesn't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so when I played it for both of you, I actually thought to myself, one or the other was going to say one or the other.
Mhm.
So if you would have been like, I love it, this is fucking so fresh, let's go, I would have been like, okay, then I expect him to be like, no,
Mhm.
I think that you should just leave it.
Yeah.
And it was one or the other because you both kind of really really knew it.
And that's how
And
you balance yourself. It's not that you should follow one or the other. It's
right,
just that you feel, you get that feel back of that balance. If either both of these parallel dimension do exist, kind of, because you kind of, sorry, I'm trying to translate what I have in
no, no,
mind, but
no, that makes
it,
perfect sense. I'll even help you. What you
when
mean by
you
like that?
ask yourself a question when it comes to music, you know instinctively that there are, two, three, four kind of answers when there is a doubt, and
Right,
there's a few questions that needs to be answered for yourself, like, is it good, is it bad, uh, whatever questions. And if those concerns manifest themselves through others that you know and are confident with, uh, and they manifest exactly how you would have framed them initially in your mind, those two parallel realities, it confirms that those doubts, so to speak, exist. And then when you have confirmed them in your mind, you choose, simply, you just choose to move forward with, whatever balance you choose to act for the art piece um, itself. And so, yeah, I definitely understand the process, and I absolutely have not wouldn't have taken anything personally, and I don't expect you to do so neither, because like I always stated, like, I'm strictly talking about the song, and you're right, I'm biased because I know it well, and sometimes it's like you said, like adding a verse 3 years later, it's a challenge. In a way, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done, and it's not as if I didn't like the result neither, because I enjoyed it. I was just, yeah, asking myself very basic questions, like, yeah, is the time frame, is that what you want? And basically, yeah, there's a new energy coming into it. Is that what you want? Once again, and that's basically it. My feedback, and then I just, give you my personal enjoyment feedback, I would say, to say, yeah, I like the song as is, and I don't feel like it's this addition is needed. But once again, I'm not in your mind, and it's your song, it's your feels, it's your experimentation, and so uh, I enjoy it as well. So I don't see any bad into, keeping to choosing to keep it, basically. So yeah.
yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, like it's not like you said anything negative anyway. It was more like a very honest take, and I took it very seriously in the sense of thinking like very true. Like even whenever I was going to do it, I was like, do I need to do this? But like I have felt about that song in particular, it needed an extra verse for the longest time. Like it needed something, and I just didn't know how to I didn't know how to go about doing it. But like I said, the last couple weeks, um I don't know, my energy levels have been insane. And not even like energy, but like my precision of energy. And I think that's a really good way to put it is like if I want to do something, it's getting done. Even if it's not good. And what I mean by that is like maybe I would be overthinking it if I was not in the state of mind I've been in the last month where like I wouldn't like say it's good enough. Like maybe I would be overly judgmental of it where I would leave it in a position where it's like it's in superposition and it's not really going anywhere. And to me that's not really beneficial to my own um to my own benefit. Like if I'm just sitting there not really finishing anything, like that doesn't really help me. And I feel like just the last couple weeks I've just been really good at deciding to do something and then just doing it, even if
Mm,
it doesn't go well. You know what I mean?
mm,
And I think that that's kind of the point, right? Even look, even with you know, particularly, I mean, dude, I've made a lot of songs in the last couple days, let alone weeks.
mm.
In fact, I want to play one short one later.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be fun. It was made in reference to uh, the recent um, the recent project I was a part of, and I just had to, you know, maybe say a little something on a track for fun. But it's cool. The song's called Order.
Okay.
so so the opposite of chaos, uh, which is great. So there's a lot of fun stuff in that one. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah. But back to that overall point, and maybe this is like something for all creators to take away from is that it's just one of those things that you learn through experience of being okay with it being what it is because you know you're only as good as you are and you're only at the point in which you are at, if that
Mm,
makes sense. Like, you know, whether that's the music that I'm making currently or that's the projects that I'm putting out currently, either way you look at it, they are of the same thought process to me. Like,
mm,
this is where I'm at, this is what I have. Let me go forward with that and let me see what occurs. You know, where does this go from here? We'll find out. And I think that's kind of like a bit of a relaxing thought. But if I was high all the time, it would be really easy for me to be like, no, it's not ready, or no, like let me fucking do this, or no, let me like fuck around for another 4 months. Like at the end of the day, like there's something about just like doing it and it being like it being what it is. And I think that's kind of
mhm,
where how I feel about like just the last month, um, from you know projects, addressing problems within groups, you know, talking about pretty much just all of it combined. There's just so much that I could individually speak on, but it's just the and maybe that also speaks on the energy that you were talking to earlier. Is just you know I said something about doing a show, and I think right after I said that, you were like, "Yeah, I notice a change in the tone," and I was like, that's interesting
mhm,
because you know I don't know if those were related, but you know even me deciding to like want to just do something new, I think might speak to that energy even in a sense. And but I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of good things that have happened in the last month. There's been a lot of things that maybe I could say I've learned from, but ultimately though, I feel like it's just all positives. You know, like yeah, I mean, I could talk about specifics for sure, and maybe we get into some of those specifics for each thing. But yeah, it's just good to be able to be in a position where you just feel confident, even if it goes wrong,
mhm.
in a sense. And so, whatever that means, like goes wrong, like right, like says who. I think it's just kind of perspective, but
And
but yeah,
I think the most positive aspect I could tell about the change of tone, now that we've speak a little bit about it, is that oh, sorry, I missed it. But basically, because that's something I feel as well with me a little bit is the thing we address are even more broader of this space. Like it also, we are influenced by the situation uh, worldwide a way or another these days because things are getting wild and it does affect us well. keeping the ship uh, afloat. And maybe my point will come back at some point, but yeah, I missed it. What I
You
wanted to
mean
say is,
okay?
in relation to the tone, is that if I couldn't tell right now, is that it reflects the complexity that I myself have to go through these days, and I can relate to and so understand. But that calmness and that all the, like you say with me, the words you use and how you put them out definitely turns out positive in the mindset and very powerful and strengthful. I don't know if that word exists, but with a lot of force. And yeah, I feel there's, it's this learning as well of taking things as they are, and they are, so wild. We need that calmness and to come back to point zero, ground zero. Maybe that's not the best reference, but to come back home in a sense, and take care of yourself 5 minutes and realize the craziness, and yeah, come back to some wiseness and be like, okay, let's come back to the the roots, be calm, analyze everything and move forward, and yeah, accept things how they are. In a sense, I don't give a fuck. I know what my value as a human, as a creator, as a whatever is, and and yeah, take that step forward into some kind of maturity when it comes to the reflection of yourself you get from these past 2 years of experience with that new medium that we play with. And yeah, in the end I would say it's definitely positive, that change of tone. It's just in it there is some heavy things, whether it's what you've been through before Web3 or what you've been through in Web3, and what is ahead of us now that we have a clear view of what you know awaits us.
I like that. I like that last part
And so
in particular.
I like the complexity of that new tone, but I hear it positively now. Definitely,
Well,
I can bet. I can,
well,
yeah.
that's good, and I appreciate hearing that. I do really agree with like your last point particularly, and that's that that what you said is like um despite all of the learnings last 2 years, like just everything, even as an individual, whether things I've been a part of, things that I've witnessed, things that I've had opinions on, things that I've done, whatever. And now I'm in my own position to kind of move forward in my own way. I feel as if yes, it's positive knowing that like, all right, I can handle however this goes,
Mhm,
and I will build as slowly as need be. But to that comes with that thing that you said at the end that I feel is like you kind of said maybe is heavy, is like understanding that no matter what, it's going to be a battle. And
mhm,
and and I think no matter what, it's going to be an uphill trek, and it's not going to be like super fucking easy no matter what, if that makes sense. Like I think ultimately it's going to be and maybe I'm misinterpreting, but I think like it's kind of like a little bit of both. Like knowing I can do it, but knowing that the like it's always going to be but knowing it's always going to be a challenge. And there's always going to be new things to get over or battle through. And ultimately, like the more I learn about this space, the more I realize that we aren't really all that much different than the old world. It's very much so the same to me. And I feel um maybe that's maybe that's part of the whole thing is like we're still here trying to repair the same problems, and those problems are not Web 2 exclusive. They are very much so exclusive to the individuals that choose to be creative and then try to make their own worlds out of that. And of there's a lot of challenges still here. A lot left to be figured out. Not even figured out, but a lot left to be um, self-actualized in a way. I don't know. Like a lot. I see a lot of the same issues in this world that I do in the old world.
Mhm.
Um, with people that I've worked um, with projects that I've worked with people I don't really know that well, but like are a part of things that I'm also a part of. All of that combined, just reminds me that like we haven't really gotten that far, and we have a long way to go. And maybe, yeah, I don't know, and who knows? I don't know. Maybe we don't know exactly how we're gonna get wherever we're going, or what that means. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it's like maybe that's what you mean by the heavy aspect of it all. Is like, of course, the confidence level couldn't be higher just because it's like, you know, like I said, like who's gonna stop us? You know what I mean? Even if everything goes wrong, like
Mhm.
I mean, dude, like, I'll just go back to the same place that I was in, which is I'll just sit back in my room and I'll make music,
And
and
that's
then and that's
relates.
it.
Yeah, that definitely relates to those conversations when we talked about who will survive the platforms, the tokens, or no, determine the order of what will survive. The tokens may survive the longest of the artist, but the artist may survive longer than the platforms. And so there's a kind of a hierarchy of what will last the longest in this environment, right?
100%. You know what's crazy is what you're saying is I was on Kane's show on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool. It was really cool. I got to there was a lot of like really dope shit that he was saying. And one thing in particular that actually stuck with me. And look, not a lot of people say things that stick with me. I'll be honest. A lot of you have really stupid fucking points. Not you, Mighty, but a lot of you have nothing good to say. Sorry, I'm being honest. But anyway, point is he said one thing that really resonated with me. And that was a lot of these artists can't go outside. And what he meant by this is a lot of these artists that are now he didn't say specifics, but I'm going to say specifics, and this will be more my point than his point at this point, but like I'm just going to explain it from my point of view. And what he meant by that to me is that a lot of these artists who are platform artists, they're on your catalog, your sound,
Mm-hmm.
they're on they're on these platforms, right? They can never come off that platform and come outside with us. Like the people who just do it do it their way. Do it however they want. And the idea that I was taking from that I thought was actually really big is that that's like crazy because it's just like the Web 2 world. Just like these label artists would never succeed without their machine behind them. And that's very similar to how I view like a random artist who got onboarded to sound, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no disrespect to them, but at the end of the day, they really can't sell or they really can't even really can't do anything without the platform. And by the way, like, learning from my own particular drop that I've done in the last week here, I dropped my own editions recently. And, despite, in my opinion, having a world class idea, I mean, I really haven't sold all that many. But don't get me wrong, like, I'm not here to sell in a week. I'm here to sell for until the end of time. At the end of the day, like the volume in which each song is in, I feel like it's not an unreasonable thing to think about, even for a year's time span. That just doesn't matter to me. But I think that's the difference. Is like there's people who build long term, and then there's people who are literally just here to be be in the gallery, and then have like these rich people come into the gallery, buy their art, and then leave. But like when you're outside and you make something happen with people that are outside with you, there's a much different energy that's cultivated. There's a much different connection that's cultivated. And I feel that that's much more valuable, but it's more difficult to get. It's more difficult to achieve, you know? Like, and I think that there's a level of that that needs to be uh that 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 I think, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's tricky. It's tricky to like break down as to why or how that works out, but uh that's kind of how I took it though. Is that a lot of these artists who are on these platforms could never come out to the worlds that we're in, and that is, just doing it our way. Which, I guess I'm kind of maybe on both ends, but I look at this last drop that I did, even though it was completely independently done, like I made a game independently, and I'm using it to fund a new one. And at the end of the day, like, how much more independent can you get than that? And then I did it completely on my own contract, no platform, you know? And then it's kind of like, but you see what a platform can do for an artist, and you see what an artist can do, and then you see how an artist lacks whenever they're not on a platform. And so it's interesting to just see that dynamic, but it's a matter of who can last, who can actually withtake that kind of that who has the patience, who really believes in what they're doing. And I feel like that's like kind of the difference, is like these people who are going through these platforms
Mm.
don't really have any idea of what they're really doing, other than the fact that they know that they are being onboarded to a platform where a lot of collectors can basically see their work that they know are going to pick it up in a way. And there's no real connection there. There's just simply an over exaggerated fake relationship between the gallery and these rich collectors, if that makes sense. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I took a lot from that point. And obviously I stretched it into my own wording, but it's something that I really, was resonating with, because I was like, this makes perfect fucking sense. Because anybody, for me in particular, that has picked up what I have done in the last, with these editions, for example, it feels way better than the one of ones even. The one of ones were a different game, and I think I was lucky with the timing, and I also got lucky with the type of people that were there to collect at the time that they did. Whereas now it's a whole different world, and I feel as if it's this feels better though. Like, maybe the price point's much lower than like what the one of ones are, but it feels better. I don't know. But I'm also not, but at the same time, I'm also not doing it for the price point. It's more or less to build an actual low level fan, like not low level, that's not the word for it, but like an actual real collector base, that people who actually give a fuck. And I feel like that's the difference between being a gallery artist and being someone who's outside. It's like you can actually be friends with these people when you're outside doing it, but when you're in these galleries, you're not even really the one they're buying. They're buying the gallery in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the short end of it. So I don't know. I vibed with it a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. And something sparked my mind, just coming back of the countryside and thinking of the next thing I would like to do, because that was yet unclear for me, and it still is. Just um, I'm brainstorming right now, but an idea struck me. Uh, of all the models I've seen, from since I'm in Web3, there's one thing I haven't really seen and would like to explore myself, and it's a combination of the how to manage the tech, but also to add on top of it, uh, the mechanism that would enable, just like you said, opening a wider range of spontaneous collectors. And basically, it's this idea of being in between what I did with the NFA track, the free offering, free claims, and editions like I did for my first album, which was 14 tracks, 5 edition by track, so 70 tokens, and that I kind of considered like one and ones, because the supply was very low, so I kind of see them as one and ones editions. I don't know how to call it, but it is the it's not one and ones, but it's the closest from the one and one you could get with an edition type model. That's how I felt about it. And so the thing in between would be uh, enabling something in between where, and also there's this factor of one token is one track, uh, and I'm not saying that I prefer a model over another, because I do definitely enjoy having, even for an EP like you did with Connie, having, 5 tracks with 5 tokens. But I also would like to see people that collect an entire EP in one token, in a sense. And so I've seen, and
Yeah.
I do have a template, an HTML template actually, that I found on the internet, just to have the basics of, having HTML template for a token uh, done, just the basics, and that I would uh, customize with my own, visuals and mechanics and buttons and stuff. Uh, it's just to have, the Square framework that I found this template. It's just basic buttons and stuff, but I know from there that I can add some cool customization on top of it, and basically make it an HTML playlist of I don't know, 6, 7, 8 tracks. That would be the album. And in terms of price point, having something that would be a no-brainer for, anyone who would be exposed to that release, and something pretty low, and it's not to lower the price of music in that process, because I still believe that in that environment you can, have a release that have a low price point, and then do something else that, is one-on-one with a higher price point, and have, different types of uh, it's like you have your own shop. You can, have
This is a great conversation.
we can have.
I love I love where your head's at right now because this is like I'm gonna selfishly utilize myself in this as well because I think we could both I think we're both kind of like I'm kind of like learning from this myself and I'm also interested in your thought process on this
Hmm.
because I feel this. So what you're saying is
I
well, you're saying
want,
a few things.
yeah, first I want everyone to have the full project by collecting it, but then I want to give the chance of everyone to be a no-brainer for collecting it. So, like, yeah, having a price point that is, you don't even look at your wallet when you make the transaction,
Right.
basically, something like that. And
Right.
but also you don't want to make it like 10,000 editions, like something that at this point today, looking back in the future, like in 10 years, would still be considered being something rare, like I don't know, 500 or 100, 5,000 or 100. But extend your base collector from what we created until now, but in a, yeah, organic way, something that doesn't feel like a cash grab, or that can turn out be uh, how to say, uh, be a win situation for you, because after 500 or 5,000 or 100, you would still have a pretty nice check out of it if this work out well. And I don't know, yeah, combine different details that in the end would really make the process of collecting this particular piece very fluid, but also very telling of, okay, well, we want to create a connection. It's not necessarily about the money. Uh, I can still win over this situation as an artist, because by it's a double win. I extend the people to have access to collecting one of these tokens, and also if that work out, I can still earn a good amount of money if the math is done right, and all the um, yeah, the uh, looking for the word.
Well,
Uh,
here, I this sparks a thought of mine, and this is something that I've honestly thought of since I've dropped my editions, at least publicly, to everybody. I'm curious. I'm curious your opinion, Mighty, and then honestly, I'm curious anybody that's willing to share in the chat, um, because I'm. This is just a thought that I've had. Um, so yeah, so I feel you. I feel you with specifically what you said about making it like a no brainer, and this is something that I definitely feel like if I could reconfigure the way I was thinking, I probably would have done something along these lines. But in a lot of ways, I still feel as if the way I went about it was still a no-brainer. But I mean, in a lot of ways, I feel like that's not correct, and that's kind of what I'm gonna ask here. Is like, of course, the way I viewed it is there's realistically only 8 versions of each song. There's a true one of one with the gold on catalog for each song of World One. Comes with the comes with the cartridge still, and then there's other perks that realistically are not going to make sense until Web 3 or Web 2 comes into play. And at the end of the day, that's I can't even legally state those things. But let's just say that I definitely have some very I have plans, but it's not illegal to say. So we'll just say that. But when it comes to the additions, I was like, all right, 7 of 7s, 0.1 each. And I looked at it like, well, you have 25 editions on sound selling out at 0.1, or you have these very large editions selling out at 0.1. And I thought to myself, you know, I figured 0.1 for a 7 of an edition of 7 would make sense. I'm curious from your point of view, and then I'm honestly curious what everybody else thinks. Um, what you guys think of this, because I think I have a lot of people in here that would want to if they could. And by the way, I'm not expecting anything here, but I'm curious: is 0.1 for an edition size? Is that too expensive? Mighty.
I can give you two answers, yes and no. I would say yes, for what I'm was describing just before, where the target is really a broader audience, people that would have maybe never collected in Web3 yet, but would enjoy something that is well crafted and accessible pretty easily. But 0.1 or 0.15, for example, with the project on async, the target is more the OGs crypto users, which for them at this level is a no-brainer because they know the mechanics of this space and they know the projection long term and etc. They see the value, that today for a pioneer that has very promising um, feature for the future. This can only appreciate because they understand the mechanics of scarce supply, the mainstream coming in the game, etc., etc. But for someone new, it is expensive because uh, it's an example, but of mindset. But someone would say, "Oh, I spend $200, for example, and I only have one track, so that's pretty expensive for an everyday user." Um, that is not, into the complexities of Web3 today. And for an everyday use of the technology, yeah, that's what I'm trying to decipher of what could be the mechanics that would make creating music on the Web3 a no-brainer. But for I don't know, your average internet user or consumer, and that's what I'm trying to explore for the next thing. And so what I did with the album is pretty close to what you did with the edition, or what Sound did at the time. It's just the price point was 0.5, and so today it does feel like way more expensive and way less like a no-brainer even for experimented collectors to collect it. Still, I haven't changed the price, so uh, I keep the value of what I enticed in it first. But it feels, I don't know from exactly what it comes from, but it feels like, I still haven't sell out this album neither. So I cannot tell that it's a sellout, that it's a success, because it does feel, especially since sound did make the point one price point more of a, kind of like the 10% royalty, something like a standard for sellouts in music. That model of 25 tokens and point one. So my album compared to that then falls into the expensive category. Then, but still, for a new user, for someone who isn't uh, used to Web3 and understand all the specificities and the complexities of that, that does feel pretty expensive for an everyday use. Yet, in the general mentalities.
Right. Okay. I mean, no, that makes sense. So I mean, I don't know if you ever really answered for mine in particular. I'm just curious from your perspective, for what I've done
Hmm.
in with my particular project. Do you think point one for an edition of 7? So you only have seven
Hmm.
editions of this song. Of course, there's a one of one, which some of these sold for like 3 ETH, right? So it's like it's obviously the one of ones may be excluded. I think that you might want to include them theoretically into the concept of a song's market cap, which at the end of the day, that is kind of how you have to think about it. It's like you're basically building up a market cap per song, and
Mhm.
then from there you're taking that and then you're distributing it after the fact. So let's just say that like let's just take the title track My World, right? So the My World sold for 3.33 ETH, right? At the time that was like a really ridiculous amount of money. Now granted I didn't sell that ETH, so I mean so fuck me. But either way, the point is um then you have edition versions which are different, they're derivative, they're not exactly the same, but they have their lyric videos and they're point one and there's only 7 versions. So 7 editions. And they come with a game, blah 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 blah. Do you think that that is too expensive though? Like from your perspective, as a friend and also like a mentor in the space, you've been here longer than myself. And I know that you just mentioned your own as point 0.5. And I understand why they were point 0.5 because at the time ETH was $300.
Mhm.
So point 0.5 was the same
The
price as
same
my point
price.
0.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're like literally we priced our, which makes sense to me though. Like if look, and I'll give you my answer after the fact, but I'm curious from your perspective. And then honestly, I'm curious from the crowd here because I do think that there's a lot of people in here that maybe I'm wrong, but I do think there's a lot of people in here that would be interested in collecting a piece. But at the same time, I mean, maybe it is too expensive for a lot of these people who have been here for a long time and support me. But at the same time, maybe they're like, hey, like, look, I fuck with you. I fuck with the game idea. I want to help you build a new game. But point one, even right now, is maybe a little too expensive. And although I've already had some sales with this current model, even in the last week, I'm curious from your perspective, and also anybody that's willing to share. Which, by the way, I'm not going to get offended by. I'll share my own particular opinion after the fact. But Mighty, I'm curious. Like, do you think they are too expensive? Do you think they're? Yeah. Do you have any opinion on the model that I've created personally? Because we're talking about all this stuff. We're talking about philosophy. We're talking about what's happened in the last 2 years. Do you feel that I've fallen down the wrong trap, or do you think that this is
No, definitely not. And actually, it very close to how I would look at it, how I looked at it for my album, in terms of custom contracts. So, not using a particular platform, having a price point that is in terms of USD exactly what I had in mind back in the days. Even though I still had, I don't know if that's the case for you, you can tell, but I know at the time I was seeing that magic internet money, and I was like, yeah, I might be audacious a little bit, with these price points, and I'm still is considering the growth of Ethereum price. But at the time, there was a part in me that was like, okay, I'm daring something with asking that price. I don't want to be, because I didn't feel confident enough to ask, for crazy prices, and no one was really at the time. So well. But I was witnessing some good sales when it came to crypto art or uh, in the space in general, and you know you have something in you that pushes you to be a little bit audacious about it, and but the price point is the same 2 years later. So even though it was audacious, it felt like deserved as well. Like I
Right.
spent that time on that music. That's for the first time I can ask for the price I want, and it feels great. So I'm gonna stand on that audacity and
Love
assume
that.
like if it sells, it's good. If it doesn't, no problem. I'm gonna assume that choice, and so it doesn't feel expensive for uh, the collectors that I met at the time. Um, I did as well accept some lowest offer, but because the price of Ethereum climbed a lot, so I did accept, to sell to 0.25 or stuff like that by, negotiating in the DMs, because when someone is, you know, coming to you and be kind and respectful and enjoying the art and stuff, you don't always want to be, that guy that say no, the price is the price, uh, especially knowing that it's a little bit uh, malicious when you know the volatility of crypto and stuff. So I always was open to negotiate and uh, regarding the price, even though the display was always zero point 0.5, but I'm still open, and it's not about being only a shop owner all the time. So I would say definitely not everything you said I resonate with in terms of those editions, the numbers, the price point, and you deserve that price as much as those platforms artists. There's no reason, and to me, you have these tokens in your hands. You don't owe anything to anyone but yourself. So that is the best for me. But the price point still, that's the last aspect, interesting aspect that sparked in my mind when you talked about it, is in
Yeah.
this game you have, the whales collectors, and they are pretty much the only one that are able to collect a lot of music NFT. By a lot, I mean what is released pretty much every day or every week, and be active in collecting at that state, at that level, where from for 2 years you are able to collect music NFTs every week. There's only just a few people right now able to do that, and who does that? For myself, for example, I consider myself as a collector en devenir. Sorry, it's French, but a collector in the future, where I would love to collect at that state, but I'm not able to right now. And,
Same.
and I believe that this is the biggest majority of people in music NFT space right now are able to collect music NFT maybe once a month or 2 months or even 6 months. And those collections, those profiles, those wallets, in a sense, are very interesting because they are very particular and very picky about what they will collect. And these collections, as I consider with mine, really reflects the choices that that I had into collecting. And sometimes most of them are just small opportunities where I kind of scoop a one-on-one from an artist that just priced it $5 because they were just testing OpenSea or creating a token, and I don't hide from that because at the same time I enjoy the music. I didn't do it just for the sake of flipping it or anything. It's just about creating a connection, where seeing an opportunity to create a connection with someone, and then it's what you do with that connection after. But yeah, to come back to my point is, I believe the majority of people collecting music NFTs are very picky because those price points are not that accessible in the end for an everyday, even crypto veterans going through that bear market and that craziness in the world and whatever, we're all big boys in it, and we we appear strong and trolling and memeing all day and stuff. But at the end of the day, realistically, uh, can impact, uh, to spend $200 in a painting. That's I don't know. That's kind of a lot for an everyday wallet. Uh,
Absolutely.
and but the good point of it right now is that if you have collectors at that price point today, those collections, those collectors, those connections definitely means a lot because the supply is realistic. I mean, 60 people in the world right now being able to manifest from that initiative is definitely in the market today. Uh, whether it's whale collectors or the biggest chunk, the majority of people not being able necessarily to collect every day, but can see the value of something by looking at it enough in the time and in the progression in the art itself and stuff. If they choose to collect, it means a lot because they were here for a while, or you see what I mean? Like uh, the whale game is something, but if you have a collector from the biggest part of the space, yeah, it really means they've been waiting for this opportunity and they see your value, they want to interact, and all that. That's how I would feel it for myself if someone would, collect point 0.5 edition today, especially if it's not a whale. Would be, even almost kind of embarrassed to be like, do you really want to spend that much money on it? And once I did it, someone was asking me about buying the whole album, and so that's 14 tracks, and that's so 7 ETH. And I was like, do you really want to spend all that money on that? Do you really see the value, and etc.? And then the sale didn't happen, so I didn't make that sale. But in a way, I was not ready for someone to spend that much money on my music, because even though you can, you know, enable it with the space, uh, like that's the Beeple question or the Blau question. Like, how do you feel about someone spending 10 million or 60 million dollars on your JPEG or your MP3? So yeah.
No, you're totally right. So many good points, so many thoughts, not only just from you but from the crowd. I'm seeing a lot of good comments and a lot of things that are sparking thoughts. And yeah, I feel you on on your own thought process from where you were then to even justifying it now. And in a lot of ways, dude, I completely still feel that, even for your own thing cuz like dude, at the time, and maybe there will be a time where people look back and they'll be like, "Yo, this was this long ago." And like the reason why it was even priced at that point was because ETH was fucking $300. Like somebody's gonna realize that and somebody's gonna get that. And I think that's super important. And I think like just the posterity of that. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's the word. Like I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's yeah, that to me makes sense. And yeah, I don't know. I think the reason even I questioned it, and to be transparent, like, do I think that like I overvalued my NFTs? The answer is no. If I'm being totally
Hmm.
honest with you,
Yeah.
I think I undervalued them. I mean, that's dead ass what I really believe. I mean, look at my one of ones. I have my one of ones priced completely out of most people, if not every single person. Like a couple people did collect one of ones, but at the end of the day, I was very, very after I let go of like two one of ones, I was really, really seldom. Like I almost didn't want to let go of one of ones anymore. I was like, I just kind of want to hold them. And Conman in particular, if you look at my catalog page, I have Conman up there for like 5 ETH because I don't want anybody to have it. Like, but if somebody were to buy it, then I would. And I think like honestly, from this point on, like World Two and like other songs, I probably won't even list them unless someone like hits me on a DM like for one of ones. One of ones I almost want to keep myself and then allow the additions to be held by, you know, the actual fans, the collectors, the people who really see the vision of what's going on here. And but at first though, you know, those were my first NFTs. And a lot of way they like jump started my last 6 months, you know? If it wasn't for those sales, I would not be able to have been able to work on every project that I've worked on in the last 7 months, you know, from Connie's project to my own project to the chaos stuff to, you know, a bunch of other things. Like there's the game, you know, all these things, like being able to facilitate and create as much as I have, and also working on these other games, like working on the future, like those things obviously take time and they obviously take money. And it's like the only way that I would have ever done that is if I wouldn't have gotten those one of one sales, I would have never been able to do that.
Mhm.
And you know, the majority of those one of one holders I actually like, but two of them I don't like. And
Mhm.
that's weird. That's weird to me. Like I don't want to not like my collectors. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking strange to me. And I know for a fact that like anybody that were to get this vision in particular and were to collect, and even the people who already have, like I've had conversations with them. They're like they're just way more excited about shit that I'm doing than shit that's like going on. And that to me is way more encouraging. It's way more like exciting for me as a creator. And it's like that is what I even want as I build. Like I want the right people involved. And there was so many good comments here, you know, like um Jax mentioned, you know, the ultimate value is determined by the community. The community should
Mhm.
play an important role in getting the music out to the world, etc. That is so true. Like for example, two of my one of one collectors I've never spoken to, and I've tried to.
Mhm.
You know, like that's fucking weird. Like, and you know, and the reason for that is many things. You know, obviously they're fucking rich and they don't give a fuck. But I think like they're also just they didn't collect to really say that they fucked with the music. Maybe they did, but really what they did is they bought it to flip it in 5 years. And by the way, I don't have any problem with that. They bought a good one, you know? I'm not going anywhere. I got fucking catalogs of music and I'm just smart about how I'm going about it. World One, World Two, World Three, building games. Like I know what my world's gonna be. Like it's definitely a large amount of you know, it takes a lot of time to put those projects together. But you know, in the meantime, I'm working on other projects. That's why I'm able to work on, you know, these Song Camp Chaos stuff, even though I still got fucked in that. But that is what it is. You know, I'm still able to work with Connie. Like, you know, I'm making beats all the time, whether I use them. If I don't, I send them off to different artists. Connie obviously gets first dibs. And you know, so I get to work on a lot of things due to the fact that I kind of went that route. But it feels a lot better doing it the way that I have. And yeah, like I said, you know, like in my opinion, no, I don't think that I am quote unquote overvaluing it at all. I actually remember when I was originally going to do these editions for at 7 of 7s, I was going to do them at point two,
Mm.
and I was going to let certain people get them in at point one. But then I was like, you know, it's just like a terrible time. And like, if somebody's willing to support, like,
Mm.
let's just make it easy for the first round, you know? But don't get me wrong, you know, World Two, World Three, like it's only gonna get worse. I'm only gonna go up. But I also like, you know, a lot of the things that Jax was saying earlier too about the idea of gamification. It's like, and also about the point about sharing the music with like the community sharing the music. This is something that I really, really have been thinking
Yeah.
about a lot. And like
But
Mighty, I know that we've kind of talked about this briefly, and it's the idea of creating derivatives for holders. So let's imagine this, right? So let's just say each song, let's just say World One, right? Let's not go too complex yet because it could get very complex the way that I'm thinking about this. But let's say World One. Let's say you're an edition holder of the song of the middle song, right? My World, right? Which is like the title track. Let's say, and there's 7 holders. All 7 of them are bought. All 7 of them are owned by different people. Each one of those edition holders, we could decide collectively, okay, we're going to make a derivative version of this and everybody is going to get like an X amount for free as an airdrop. And then your job is to take those derivatives and then sell them or distribute them however you please as holders. That's the way that I have always thought about it. And maybe
Mhm.
they'd be on Matic so that way, like, you know, they could distribute them for cheap. but depending on what they would kind of want. But the idea here is like before I go Web 2, before we go to Spotify, before we really release the music, we kind of play this own game. Like we spread my world as a group, and the people who have already collected and kind of supported, they get these free airdrops that then they can go ahead and distribute however they
Mm-hmm.
please. So, and
Yeah,
it's
that
not the full songs, maybe it's like a minute snippet, like the best part. And like they distribute it. Hey, like, have you ever heard this artist? Well, here I collected early, so I got these derivative versions. I'm gonna give these out. That type of
that's
shit to me
that's brilliant.
vibe.
Yeah.
That type of shit has always vibed me out a lot because then it's like it's like
You know,
fractalization.
you know what it makes me think? It was in 2015 or 16. I don't remember the last Daft Punk album. The way they released it was like crazy. Basically, their marketing was always like legendary, and what they did is that they exploited the buzz phenomenon, the network effect of having social networks being, really connected or starting to be, big enough to create those network effects with video buzz and stuff like that. And what they did is they rented a bus in Tokyo with big speakers on it and only a 10-second loop of the hit records at the time, Get Lucky. And it was just that loop of, the instrumental playing one bar. And they were running the bus all around the city with speakers out loud. And what happened is that people were shooting their smartphone and capture that beat, and suddenly on the internet you had uh, those video of the new Daft Punk album leaking kind of in on the internet, but it was just a snippet. So that matches your idea of spreading snippets from collectors that want to be involved, and that connects this idea of my track NFA with the free airdrop of one track, but combining those ideas into more complex systems where your collectors uh, become your own dealer. That was the idea with my track, but then having a price point, like being, I don't know what's the word, but the middleman in the distribution, and having a price of access to that is both rewarding for you as an artist to have your main asset collected, but then for them to have fun in spreading your uh, your vibe around with a derivative that they are the only one to be able to control and to distribute to their will, to for free, or to sell them, or whatever happens. And yeah, that's brilliant. I don't know, I was just speaking out loud of those what it inspired me.
No, I love it. I love it. But yeah, it's like, because I really vibed with that thought. It's like, when Jack said that, it was like, it just resparked this idea and this thought that I've had. And I know I've had this idea for a while, and I know we've kind of talked about it, where it's like, the collectors collect, they show that early support. Music's not even out yet. Then they get these free airdrops. They can do whatever they want with them. They could hold them if they want, or, ideally they give them out, because it's like, and they can make money off them if they want, or or they just give them out to their friends, and it's just like kind of like advertising for free. And there's a bit of an incentive to do so, because you're obviously an early collector. And
Mhm.
then once that process is done, then we actually release the music, then it's out on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And then you have this conglomerate of people around each song that are kind of like innately tied to it, because they were kind of like almost in a businessy way, they were like marketed it before it was even out, and they feel like they're like a lucky early member that got to know about it beforehand. Not to say that that's kind of like the sell. Like, obviously the song needs to be good, and hopefully people just like the song, but assuming that that's already a given, and people are collecting it because they like the song, then it's like, okay, like now you can spread it out to more people. And then those collectors are the ones who get to do that. They become, as I've said before, they become the dealers of your music. Like, they're your little, you buy a pound, I distribute you guys, ounces, and you guys all go and sell my drug. No, but like in a lot of way, that's kind of how it is. Like, that's that's kind of like how I view like the idea of deriving what derivative NFTs off of your real like your real hierarchy, right? And of course the one of one holders, they would get much more, right? Like a one of one holder would get probably an infinite amount in a sense, but they would get it over time. So the one of one holder could constantly keep receiving airdrops of these derivatives that then they could spread out amongst people. And not to mention, the same concept could also apply to the way that I've been viewing each shape. And this is kind of like a more high level, like long term process. But Mighty, you know this, as each world goes, I'm not sure if I've ever explained this before, but each world will have the exact same 7 shapes. So like my
Hmm.
logo is the logo to World 1, it's the logo to the first album, but the second album has the exact same logo. It's just an upgraded version of it. And same with album 3. And each song is represented by one of those 7 shapes. So let's say you collect World 1's shape 1, which is the flower of life, right? Let's say you collect that shape or gem or whatever you want to call it. You collect the flower of life. Well, that means when World 2 comes around, you don't necessarily get a one of one version of it, and you definitely don't get the one of one gold one of one, and you don't get like a silver or whatever you want to call it, like a 7 of 7 edition unless you buy one. But the idea of that would, whenever the derivative versions come out, you would get a derivative version of that one because you're holding the actual shape from one of the first ones, if that makes sense. So it's like gold one of ones, then like you could call them silver, but I just call them the editions, like the official editions, 7 of 7s. And then after that, it's those derivatives. And whoever's holding either one of those two models gets the derivatives, and then they can distribute those derivatives however they please. But once again, if you're holding World 1's shape, you're going to get World 2, World 3, and so on. And after World 3, this is where it gets interesting. And this is what I haven't really figured out the process of this yet. But the idea here is that eventually there's only after World 3, each shape is going to have 3 songs underneath its umbrella, right? So each shape will have 3 songs represented by it. After that, there's going to be albums that are going to be coming out, and they won't have shapes determined by them yet. So that will be up to those teams of people. So those people will then be able to be like I'll drop 7 songs to those people early, and I'll be like, hey, you guys have to decide who's getting what. So, the tetrahedron will be like, no, I want this song. And then, the star tetrahedron will be like, no, I want this song. And then you guys got to fight Mortal Kombat style, and whoever wins uh, gets the song. But no, it's something along those lines. I haven't figured out the process of that yet. But the idea is that these teams then will determine where these songs will go in the future, and then your shape will then keep growing. And after the third world, you will be the one deciding where these songs go. Now that won't always be the case. Like I might make an album and just say like, no, these are the shapes again. But that's kind of the concept, though, is that you're gonna basically have all of these different shapes. Rochambeau for it. I'm not even sure what Rochambeau is. Is that rock paper scissors? Is that just like a interesting version word for it? But the idea though is yes, those teams will basically be able to battle for the song of their shape, for the song to be represented by their shape. So, yeah, first to cry loses, I think. Well, I would lose. Um, but um,
But
but
yeah,
yeah, no,
the more you
it
describe it, and the more I'm thinking about it, and the deeper you go, really highlights to me the fact that this is. I can definitely see this as being the future of even, the bad side of the upcoming music NFT hype. When it gets so high that you see pretty much every day doing these types of combination, just for the sake of, of course, some of them will be, legit, but this can be the type of, um, how to say, montage combination that can be used to, also scam people, unfortunately. But because it will be so successful that it can enter that space of scamming, and this is just my way to say that this this is exactly how I can see it in the future happening, what you describe, and that definitely resonates with all the experimentation we did so far. It's just more fine tuning of them and combining the right ones just to create the right effects for adoption and more success towards virality, um, even financially, and uh, just as well to extend your own ecosystem as an artist and diversify your assets and allow the collectors to enter your game and your universe and to spread it and to promote it, be active, not just sit on the one-on-ones, but I actually have a mean provided by the artist himself to be active.
Absolutely.
Because collectors, of course, some of them can be the one creating the content, but it's easier if you create and give the content that is the best one for you. It's like providing your own promotion TikTok video to the collector so they can just repost it, in a sense, even though that sounds extreme, but that is not impossible to that we see that in the future airdrops of promote content becoming so wild that with the network effects and stuff, we might see what you're describing entering the scam space, if you see what I mean by that. But
Yeah.
it's just a proof of the success I see in the explanation you did. I would say to mark this show so we can refer to it back when we see loads of those types of combination, because the model as you described it to me feels right, feels like what can be successful and combine all the classes, the higher collectors and your everyday audience. So yeah.
Right, right. Absolutely. I could see that. We'll mark that, and we will mark it. And yo, shout out to Trizlet, by the way. I don't know how much I can really even say here, but let's just say we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at just that. Shout out to Trizlet. Big round
Yeah.
of big love for Trizlet. I don't know if I think I can. I'll say nothing else. But forcing collectors to compete for specific ones though would give greater sense of ownership, I would think, ensuring the most avid collector ends up with the best pieces. Yes. Exactly, exactly, and that's, like, kind of the concept, and by the way, it's like they're fighting for the shape, but let's keep in mind that no matter what, like, so I don't wanna, like, give the wrong idea, so it's not like let's say you hold a Flower of Life shape. Let's just say you hold the Flower of Life shape, for the song that, for World 1. That means that any song that's represented by the Flower of Life shape, you would receive the derivative versions of when that time comes. That wouldn't mean that you would receive like a one of one or even like an official edition from Future Worlds unless you purchase that as well. But the idea though is that you would come back or you would be able to get the derivative version of that one. But yes, ideally though, you would want to collect all you would need is one shape and then you would get derivatives from that shape for eternity. And then this is kind of how you get to that model of free airdrops where eventually kind of like what Mighty did with the NFA, instead of just immediately giving it all out for free, what you do is you allow those people that are early in there to like, kind of, show their support, which is you could call it a million ways. Obviously, they'd
Yeah,
have to quote unquote
manifest,
buy the
basically
yeah,
manifest themselves. Yeah, not
right.
send,
And then once they're
because the
yeah,
step before was sending random. It was like spamming. When at the early days when there were no spam bugs in NFTs, you just take the address of a celebrity and spam them an NFT. But after that, you realize that you need consent. In a sense, that's better for creating an audience, and then just adding a little mechanism so that people manifest by themselves and manifest their envy to participate, and then that's free because that's an experiment. But we can build from that and definitely go toward what you describe, which is basically combining those concepts and having the consent, but also having the engagement. So not all your work is for free forever, but also enabling the gamification subtle but present when it comes to uh, what you described with the derivative and enabling the collectors to participate and be active, not passive. And yeah, that.
Absolutely. And
Mm,
look, a lot of these, it's not even required that anybody would even need to kind of participate in that, but it's just kind of like it is though. Like to me, and dude, I had this conversation with Connie today. Like literally, like I was talking to him about specifically the idea of like, how I was thinking with the utility, so to speak. And I was like, yo, should I explain this? And uh it's such a deep rabbit hole to explain about this stuff. It's very much so um it's almost too early to explain it all, but I feel comfortable talking about it on the show because first of all, I've been thinking about this same concept for so long that when finally I have editions available, so it's kind of like now it's accessible, whereas like before I only had one of ones, and who's going to spend 2 ETH unless you're like a whale or like one you're like a super fan. And I was lucky enough to have a few of those in November, but like at the end of the day, that's not average, and nor do I want that to be average. I want to make things accessible, and I want like I said, it feels better almost when people collect like the editions. Like I don't know why, it just feels like they are more into the
mhm,
concept, the game cartridge. They're into the idea of the gamification of things. Not to mention all this other stuff that they don't even really know about. But once I explain it, then they're like even more excited. And like that's kind of
mhm,
like what his point was. Is he's like, you know, I think like what you're saying could work, but I feel like you might want to do this after the fact, and I think that's so important um, to think about. But yeah, I love to like think about it and talk about it with like on the show and just like kind of like put the idea out there. But it reminded me, and the really reason I even brought it up is because Jax mentioned it earlier. Is like, the community should be the ones to
mhm.
distribute this music. And it's very similar to how we were talking about with the NFA, right? Like when you did that, I was like, yo, that's
Yeah,
basically
something feels
like,
right. Yeah, but
yeah, like that's basically what it's like when you release a song on Spotify. You give it out for free and you hope that everybody starts listening to your music. But this new model is kind of like what we're talking about, whether we do straight free from the get or you do like versions of derivative versions of the song to your early collectors, and then they're the ones to distribute those derivatives or sell them depending on how they want.
mhm.
And then you're creating this Spotify spreading model where all of these copies of the song are getting spread out. And maybe it's just that addictive snippet, right? And everybody's just
Yeah,
getting that addictive snippet, just like TikTok, right? You
yeah,
do your TikTok version sound and then you give those out to
that's it.
people as the collectors. And then
Mhm,
boom, then you release on Spotify and Apple Music. And, next thing you know, is just big, massive smash hit, even though you don't need it to be a smash hit. But it's exciting though to kind of like try to build up pre pre hype almost, or that pre excitement to one song um into like what it is, if that makes sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
because
amazing.
I mean, nowadays I don't know a lot of artists who would not
Let's go.
want their music to be distributed widely and be heard by the most people possible, and that's what is yet to be enabled in Web3. And so, but that's the paradoxal question between adoption and pricing. What you described, what is cool with it is that it enables you as an artist to uh, have your audacity, your price point, what you think you deserve for the highest assets, uh, but then create the derivatives, whether they are um listed ones with a lower price point, uh, but also yeah, some goodies that are free. It's the different tiers we talked about when it comes to music release uh, as well. But
Right.
the interesting part in what you described is that you can connect those tiers together and not be three separate class of assets. And that's the cool thing about it. But the paradox I'm feeling is the thing that um, with the way I'm thinking, trying to move forward in terms of numbers, networks effects, and stuff, I feel like the more I move forward, the lower price point I comes into mind. Not that I want it, but that the numbers just realistically and mathematically. uh, drops a little bit when it comes to thinking in broader numbers, and and you're like, damn, like I want to, in a way, and that's just human, capitalistic human, but you're like, yeah, I want to make more money, so I want to release more stuff, and etc. But if I want those bigger numbers to work out, I need to find a way to lower the entry point, and to enable no-brainer type of spontaneous reaction amongst the largest amount of people that are able to support in that very specific way, because you have beyond that the last target, the goodies where you just onboard someone with something free, which is the last frontier. But just before that, you want people who are able to maybe to spend 20 or 30 bucks on a complete album, something that makes sense, where it's just not weird because it is one track and you don't have the full EP, and so that may, you know, for your average Web2 listener, feel a little bit like out of the box. Still, that's why I'm thinking of, yeah, would be interested into finding a way to, yeah, compile a record of several tracks into one token
I like that.
in an
I,
interactive way, because I love, the way you did with World One on catalog, where you just play the 20 minutes at once. And that's something I'm looking forward to do maybe sometime in the future. That's one of the models I was seduced with, but I would like to experiment as well. Yeah, the model of interactive HTML, where you let the user be able to interact with the player and have maybe an Easter egg or something, some an interactive experience, kind of like what you're trying to do as well with the video games, but in a very simpler form. Just
yeah, no,
something that has a little meme dimension to it, where you have this very short but cool adrenaline of playing around with the player, even though it's not that much that far-fetched.
right. I know what you mean. Like just something's, yeah. Something that's cool, but it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be like a full out video game or something crazy. Yeah, no, I think it's dope. And I feel you too. Like even as you're saying, like I want people to have like the full album. Like I love that thought, and like I think that you're right. Like if, for example, like if someone were to want to collect like every single one of the songs on World One, it would be point 0.7. But like, what if I made a model where I was like, point 0.5 even, you can get all 7. And I'm pretty sure I could do that. I don't really know how, but
Yeah,
I
actually, as you say it, I would suggest you to at least do one, because that's something I kind of regret not having tilted at the time, that I could do that with OpenSea and bundle the 14 tracks. And when I thought about it, it was
yeah.
too late. One of the track was already sold out, and the only bundle I could do was like 13 or 12 tracks, because some of them was already sold out. And now I kind of regret that idea. And seeing your model, I would say, yeah, at least one bundle with all 7, and maybe a point 0.5 or something like that. It would definitely trigger the attention, I would say.
Yeah, I did well, I don't know why I just did that. I mean, I know why I did that. I put him in order in terms of you can see him now in order instead of some weird ass fucking order. Every time like I send people to this page, it's just like completely random, whereas like now it's at least like in order. But either way, I like that idea. Like making there's only 2 left of the World One though.
Hmm.
So like if you wanted a flower of life, there's only 2 left. So like good luck. And I actually have somebody that I know for a fact is I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know. We'll see. Beat him out. Beat him out. Trust me. He's my boy. But like beat him out. But anyway, yeah. But like I see what you're saying. Like, and that's dope. And but I also think about the fact of like kind of what we were talking about, where it's like each shape is actually kind of ensuring you more than one song because each shape in theory will infinitely kind of garner new songs. It'll just be a while, you know. But I will show you guys a little bit of work on I'll show you one piece of artwork for World 2 just because I just recently put them together. I don't want to show all of them cuz that'll give it away. But I'll give like one this is. I don't know if these are gonna be. I don't know if these are gonna be the gold ones or what. These aren't gonna be the one of ones. I think these will be. I think I'm gonna do something with async. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out. I haven't decided. I don't know yet, but I'll just pick this one. This is the purple one. It's like not. It's it's a little fruity, but I mean it's pretty. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I made these recently, like colored versions of the carts. These are obviously different versions of the carts. Um, yo, that's hard. That's definitely that's you just sent that specifically to me. That is fire though. Is that like yours? Like where did you get that? Or did you just take a pic? Did you like Google image search that?
No, I just created it. I just sent an image to Maya, but the idea was in my mind to use Midjourney and type the shape and
Oh,
see what would come out. Uh,
yo, that's a great idea for World 3 cuz or no, no, well,
that's
see
World
like I went
5. I was like, what? Maybe that's World
World
5.
5 exactly. So you're thinking correctly. And
And
by
now
the way, that's kind
everyone
of how this
listening is
works.
like, oh, damn, that's in 10 years.
I'm actually going to try and speed it up here. I waited so long for World 2, but that was cuz man, I'm not going to lie, like I was doing so much shit with waiting for I just like started doing a bunch of shit and then I like was waiting for sound. Like and then they just like
Yeah,
boxed
yeah.
me out.
And I was not
And
even
then
saying that about you specifically. I was thinking about me either. So it was not a shot.
no, no, no. I mean, trust me, dude. I feel you. I mean, in
I
a
know
lot of
we're
ways,
in the
I wish.
same boat with that. So yeah.
Yeah, we be a little too patient sometimes, but dude, don't worry. I mean, but like, listen. That just means I've made more songs. Like, in fact, I think I made like four. No, not four. That's exaggeration. Probably like three in the last week. Like, I'm in a good mode right now. I'm in a good mode. Lots of creation happening. Some I'll play you two today. Let's maybe that's what we could do right now is just play a couple tracks. These are not the tracks that are.
Hmm.
These are not either World One or two or three. These are songs that you might not see for another year. But actually,
Can I?
that's not 100% true. One of them I'd love to drop tomorrow or like soon, just simply because the fucking world needs to hear it. Just because I'm a little. It's a little bit more of an aggressive track, just because of the recent turnout with this project that I did. Which
Hmm.
I mean, if you were here at all in the past couple weeks, we talked about a project that I was a part of. It was called Chaos, and man, what an interesting project that turned out to be. And it worked out in a lot of ways in terms of me not really giving a shit, but it became Chaos.
Yeah.
Hexadized, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Be
Mighty, I'm gonna
careful
send
what
you
you
this.
wish for. Yeah.
You get what you, dude. That's all right. Now we have to play this song just because what you just said is honestly like what I said in the song. I basically said I was like, they asked for the chaos. Well, here you go. So I would love to maybe take a quick second here and
Yeah, I can
play
play
this.
it.
Yeah, we'll play this track and
Sure.
we'll have some fun. It's called Order. Um, and this beat is one of my. I made this beat like a week and a half ago, and I sent it to Connie because it was one of those beats that I was like, well, I'm not gonna get on this. This beat's way too hard. But but then he was like, oh, I'm just not feeling it, and I was like, dude, this is the hardest beat I've ever made in my life. No, like no, I really for some reason really liked this beat that I made, and so um I was chilling the other night and I decided to write to it, and so I did. And after this song, we'll play another one that's way less aggressive. That's kind of like a good it'll be a good switch up because I think this particular song is obviously a little more extreme, whereas I feel like the one that I'll play after this isn't quite as extreme, and that's a good thing. So let's I'll let Mighty play it on his end because it's easier. I'm pretty sure you can like play it and it'll actually play, whereas like I have to like share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me before you do, let me just make sure I can send you the second one. Um,
And
okay, there we go. There it is. Lifeline 2.
yeah, and
That's
there's
cool.
one I would love to play as well. Just because that's one of the things I did recently that I really was like when I exported it, I was like, yeah, something is happening there, and I
Let's go.
would love to share it and see. But yeah, let's come back to order. Let's go.
That's the. Oh, so this is order. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah, all right. Okay, yeah. I don't tweet, so they think I took the day off. If it's a league, then you never make your playoffs. If it's a scheme, then I'm feeling like I made off. They called for it, but we're ready for the chaos. My would order, movie genre horror. They decided some things that you weren't sure of. Cut some corners, I'm sure I tried to warn her. Next time I'ma tell you the truth, you can't afford us. Yeah, I feel like a kid again. Lithium in my pasta, they called it medicine. Who do I need to remind I'm better than? Who do I need to remind I'm better than?
Can I play this again?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah, all right. Okay, yeah. I don't tweet, so they think I took the day off. If it's a league, then you never make your playoffs. If it's a scheme, then I'm feeling like I made off. They called for it, but we're ready for the chaos. My would order, movie genre horror. They decided some things that you weren't sure of. Cut some corners, I'm sure I tried to warn her. Next time I'ma tell you the truth, you can't afford us. Yeah, I feel like a kid again. Lithium in my pasta, they called it medicine. Who do I need to remind I'm better than? Who do I need to remind I'm better than?
Yeah, yo, they can't afford us. Yeah. Love that.
Oh my god.
Those
It's like
vocals really compress the instrumental, doesn't they?
Yeah, no, it's like like the I think the limiter is like it's literally like I've no mix really. Like I recorded the vocals and then I just absolutely destroyed the master. I just smashed it. I just turned it up like 15 decibels. And I was
Yeah,
like, fuck it.
something is cool about it. Yeah.
It's very raw. It's very raw. It's very angry. But hey, listen, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to let it out. But let's play the other one now because it's way nice. It's way nicer. It's kind of like an outro to an album. Let's play that one and then we can we can get back to reality.
Let's go. Lifeline.
Yeah. But I can't stand when you say that. I hate it. But tell me, do you mean that? You said into my Venus. Yeah. The problems I don't see yet. Waiting on your timeline. You said that you're fine. I could be there by 9. Walking on a fine line. I say what's on my mind. Tell me now, did I lie? You know I don't mean it. But you wanna get even. What's the reason? Yeah. It's too much to believe in. Tell me how you doing, fine. Well, it's about time. You know you can always count on me like a lifeline.
Is this reality? Are we back to reality now?
Big back. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, way different. Way
Yeah.
different. Way different than the first one. That's how I know that like I don't think people are ever gonna really be able to guess what I'm doing next. Just because if I feel like it, I'll just drop something that I know nobody is like, is that really the same guy? Unfortunately, it is.
No,
But
I
I
can
got a
feel that's
million.
the same guy. But
I roll in extremes, exactly. You know, sometimes I'm feeling real soft, real soft. That was a guy. Believe it or not, Dab Dragon, that was a man. That was me, actually. I swear to God. I'd be sounding like never mind. I sound like a thing. But yeah, so yeah, but hey, I
but
wanted to
there are,
play both of those though because I felt as if it would justify one or the other. So if you liked the first one, you probably didn't like the second, but if you didn't like the first one, you probably liked the second. And if you didn't like either of them, well then just ignore that OpenSea link. Just ignore it. If you liked both, well then go click on that OpenSea link and let's get it going. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I'm messing with you. Carolina deserves one for free, and honestly, I'm thinking about it. But we'll get there. By the way, I don't know if it's possible. I've been wanting to do this every episode. She does. Musashi, 100%. Musashi's actually level 1. I see you in there. I need to find a way to drop my token in this chat. Is that possible? Is that like something I could do? Because I would love to find a way to do that. Musashi, I'm saying that you're level 1 in my world. You have over 3,000 my token is what I'm saying. So does Jax. Pretty sure so does Hexadize. Carolina's almost level 2. I know Dab Dragon's got some too, but I don't think Dab Dragon even knows that. We can add it to Tipbot, I think. That'd be amazing.
if
I'm
the,
not even sure.
yeah, I don't know if the Tipbot does Polygon tokens yet.
It doesn't do Polygon?
I don't
That's
know.
super.
That's the
Polygon
question.
seems to be taking over the planet right now.
Yeah, a big bounce lately.
Yeah. Dude, they've 3x since the bottom.
Hmm.
Yeah, not Polygon yet. Okay, all good. At the very, hey, but I just need to find a way to like collect everybody's address and then do like a mass distribute at the end of these at the end of these shows, because I was thinking about it. Like anybody that comes to this show every week, you guys deserve my token. I thought about that. I was like, damn, everybody who comes to these shows every week deserves some XP points, because you're coming to these shows, you're vibing out, you're listening to the rants, you're listening to songs, you're fucking with some things. I love it. And I would love to also share that XP so that whenever it matters, if that makes sense. I have to send you my other address because my OpenSea account was hacked. Dab, that's not good news. That's okay though. Dab, let me see what address I have of yours, and then I'll send it to you. You tell me if this address is hacked, because I know for a fact that I have your address. Let me check real quick. Dab Dragon. Anybody else? I know I have everybody else's. I know that. Hexadize got yours. Musashi, I have yours. Jax, definitely have yours. And who am I looking for? Dab Dragon. Okay, yeah, Dab, is this you? Sorry, I'm not looking at the screen right now. Trizlet.eth is me. Oh, Trizlet, I love it. Let me smack that right now. Trizlet, you get some just because, I mean, you know why. If you've never gotten any either, I mean, like, that doesn't make any sense. Anybody that's token smart OG, I just feel like that's my fan, because this is the first place that was like, hey, you can just come in here and do whatever you're feeling. What a fucking dice roll they made on us, huh? They were like, hey, yeah, go ahead. They just let us do our thing. How crazy is that? They were right as fuck though. What a guess. That's the hacked account? Damn. All right, Dab, no worries. I'll just don't even worry about it. I'll send you more. Just let me know the new one. Yeah, DM me the new one. Stoke, we still rolling my. Let's go, Musashi. I see that message. But yeah, DM me the new one. No problem. And then Trizlet. Oh, by the way, if I I see Foxy Yoga typing, and I know Foxy Yoga's in there as well. Foxy Yoga definitely has my as well. By the way, if you're not in the Discord, I really don't use it all that much, so it's not like that much of a heavy lift. It shouldn't be all that annoying in there. At least I try to be not that annoying. But if you're not in there, think about it. Foxy, I'm pretty sure you have. I'm pretty sure I've sent you some toke, but let me double check here. Let me double check here, Foxy. I'm not 100, but let me double check. Oh yeah, I got you. I got you in there. You might have to add the token to the wallet, by the way. If you guys have never added the token to your wallet, that's probably why you don't see it in your wallet. It's a Polygon token, by the way. This is going to disappear in like 20 seconds, but I'll just go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in the chat here in case anybody needs this. If you guys need to take that out. All right, but we don't have to stay on that topic too long. But yeah, I would love to find an easy way to just drop some My Token to anybody that shows up and that participates. I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Maybe that can happen with NFTs as well. Like,
should I do like a buy two get one free for my holders? I don't know though. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't want to fucking. I don't want to just start. That's super. I mean, listen. I will though.
Interesting.
You guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Everything
to. I'm
is
trying
open.
to.
You can think. Yeah, that's the cool thing about it.
Because I know for a fact that I want like people who just collected one. I was like, damn, like I love that you got a shape, but now I'm like, man, I almost want you to have another shape because you've already supported. And I'm kind of like, well, I kind of want you to have another shape now because like you have one shape and it's like, I want you to be on two teams because I know that at some point it's going to matter, but who knows? Maybe set up a MightyMai LP pool on Polygon. We can figure out something fun. Trizlet, I'm super down. Super, super down. Whatever's easy. We don't even need to stress though, but I'm super, super down with it. But listen, I'm really, really keen on doing the buy two, get one free or whatever, or something along those lines, or like have two shapes, get one free. And by the way, if you collect Father's Tune, if anybody's curious on this, Father's Tune doesn't have a shape. It's the prologue. But if you pick that one, you can pick any shape you want. So like, for example, Easy collected Father's Tune. So he collected that one and then picked the Star Tetrahedron. And that was his choice. It sounds maybe a little too extreme, but yeah, that's just for the record. So if you're like, oh, like I don't want to pick this one because it doesn't have a shape to it. If you pick that one, you can pick your own shape, just for the record. And I guess if you're really smart, you buy two of them, and then you let that one be. Well, no, that's not. Never mind. That wouldn't work. Never mind. That wouldn't work. You'd still end up with 3. You wouldn't end up with 4. I was thinking of a way to finesse the system and get more than that, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Dab Dragon, by the way, I'm about to send you some, and Trizlet, I'm also about to send you some as well, just so that I remember, because I wouldn't remember if I didn't. But yeah, sorry, that was a little segue.
No, that's cool. And I'm very curious about the future of social tokens, because recently, I don't know, I kind of had a bearish feeling about social tokens in general being kind of replaced with a 10K or by NFT basically with higher supplies, and yeah, so I don't see yet the real utility as well, because most of the social tokens as well recently, I mean in the past year or two, we've seen many celebrities jumping on that and failing, like really failing a lot. And yet even rock stars in the crypto art scene like Hackatao or
No, I like what you're saying, and I kind of agree in the sense that like, low level
promised
like
recently of maybe for the example of Hackatao, like he has his own social tokens, and back in December he was about to release a collection, a 10K collection, and there was this idea that you can only collect it using the his social token and stuff like that, that it would appreciate the value of the social token, and that operation didn't work at all. Like as successful as Akato are, the the mechanism of trying to raise up the value of the social token by gating their own 10k collection drop with it actually didn't impact the charts at all. And a few months later, like 6 months later today, the price of the social token has completely dropped due to the bear market, but also, I don't know, I think there is something about due to the fact that the social token hasn't really catched up, or I don't know if it failed or if it being too much considered as shitcoins yet, or not really seeing the value in their utility, and people seems to be more excited about owning NFTs rather than owning social tokens. So I don't know. By the concept, I definitely see as well the interest of using social tokens in the future and having the opportunity for artists and everyone to have this their own economy. So I see this catching up, but at this point today, I the past year's attempt seems to have yet kind of, in my opinion, turned down a little bit. I don't know what you feel about. Yeah.
So I actually have a theory on this, and like my own opinion on it at least. So I completely agree. So I don't know if anybody in here knew this, but like, well, I think I said it at one point or another. But like, I put like $6,000 into a pool at one point for the My token, and then my tokenomics guy, like, I swear on my life, I didn't tell anybody this because I was so fucking pissed off about it. I just didn't even want to bring it up. My tokenomics guy started to fucking sell his token. I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, dude, that's not your money. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck you're doing selling the token. I was like, dude, we just gave this away to people for free, and you're over here selling the token. You're supposed to fucking like be helping my tokenomics, and you're over here dumping. I'm like, what are you doing? You bass. I was saying much more explicit words. So I immediately just took all the money out, and I was like, wait a minute, why would I even want people to be able to buy the My token? That makes no sense, because the way I view the My token is XP. I guess you gave him a paycheck. Jax, that's exactly what it was, but we made no agreement on any of this. And this dude I like knew. Like, this was like kind of a friend, kind of somebody I knew in the space, but like obviously I didn't expect him to pull that shit. So if you ever watch that, by the way, that's what actually happened. And so that's why I took it all out. And so but nobody ever bought it. So and I was pretty keen on making sure that nobody ever bought it. But it also made me realize what I view as social tokens is exactly how I'm viewing my own from my perspective, is that social tokens are XP points. They're experience points. They're never going to be worth value, but they can equate to giving discounts and value in another way. But the only way that you should be able to get the My token is by experience. So XP, it's very much like XP points in a game. So the more you experience My World, the more XP points you earn. The more XP points you earn, the more you can explore. The more you can explore, the more you can experience. The more you experience My World, once again, the more you earn. So it's kind of like this cyclical cycle that allows the people who were here the earliest to be able to not only get something that kind of shows that they're a part of the game, a part of My World, whether you're listening to the music, whether you're, you're coming to the live shows, all of these things, but you level up in a way that has nothing to do with buying the token. It has everything to do with earning it on like a fan base level, like, just from doing the things that you would naturally do. Like I said, like coming to the MightyMai show, but like now I can reward you. It's like now I can give you token for just simply showing up, and the more that you show up, the more token that you earn, etc. And I think that's the kind of thing that makes sense for me for social tokens. Is it's more of a social signaler than it is anything of monetary value, because when you start to monetize a value of a social token, it's super easy to get scammy, and it's also super easy to like have things go wrong where then your community is pissed. And to me, those both are not good for the idea of the way I view that a social token should be. Whereas like I said, it to me, I view it as very much like XP points, experience points. That's all it is. It's like a video game. You can't lose your experience points. You can lose your assets, like you still can only buy NFTs and then you can sell those if you want. But the idea though is that the tokens are simply only earnable by people who are actually participating within that ecosystem and within that world. And I experimented with that earlier on with Roll because it was a little easier because I could do like drop links, which was a lot easier. But that's basically how I feel about tokens. I don't know. What's your thought on that? That's like kind of how I view it though.
Yeah, no, to me, what you described definitely feels way more healthier for an ecosystem to see it as an XP point rather than a financial value. But once you learn the lessons of what you experience basically with people selling out, it can be something that you embrace at some point. And for example, if you're an artist and at some point your track becomes a success and you earn $1 million, for example, maybe you might want to reward the owners of that social tokens and maybe add into the pool so that maybe people can sell the value. I have no idea legally if what I'm just describing is doable or not, because that feels like there might be a lot of aspects to that are fishy. But at the same time, I don't know. Naively, I thought about that when you can make it XP point, but why not at some point, if in a legal context, add value when you become richer, or I don't know, when you have success, because that would be in a Web3 utopia, thanks to your community, if you made it and if you break, I don't know if it's breakout, but basically to reward the people that has been part of your journey, whether it's by collecting NFTs, but also playing the game of the XP game. Yeah.
Right. And maybe that's like, and I would have loved, like, my ideal version of like the World 1 editions drop would have been to let literally token holders mint them early. But I don't have my own custom minting site. But that would have been my most interesting way to view it. As long as you don't give investors anything saying you're going to guarantee profit, you should be able to prove your intent wasn't to rip people off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but yeah, this is the whole point of like avoiding that whole process. Like, I was first of all, like, most people who put liquidity into a social token, most likely they get that money from somebody else. I took my own money and did that, which was borderline fucking retarded. I just shouldn't have done that at all. It was real dumb. And I paid because my own tokenomics guy was taking the money. And I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? And so, yeah, I learned my lesson, but I also in that process realized I wouldn't want somebody to be like, oh, I can go and just buy your token and then buy like access to all this content. Whereas like a lot of people had to earn that in the first place. And that was like way less fuck to me. And I was like, wait, this is way smarter. Like, I should have just kept it as illiquid from the start. And most likely that's what it will be. It'll stay illiquid. But the way that I view it is long term, I definitely see the token being nothing more than XP points. And it's just like, yo, you show up. It's like it seems like it's fun, but like the idea though is that eventually, when the process makes sense, like for example, I would have no problem like if somebody did collect like 2 of my world NFTs, right? I would absolutely give them a third for free if they were a token holder. That just makes sense. It's like, first of all, you've already showed absolute interest, and second of all, it's like, well, you might as well just get. You might as well get another one because it's like you're already a major part of this world. But like if you're a rando and I don't really know you and you just want to collect to get involved, that's cool. But like I feel like they don't deserve that benefit like somebody who's literally been here since fucking 2020. with me in particular. And I think that means a little more to me than, just a random collector who just wants to buy an NFT out of nowhere, which, by the way, that's cool too. I just feel like there needs to be a way for me to value certain individuals over other individuals. And the only way for me to know that is to keep things in a way that's like semi documented. And
Yeah, it's kind of analytics. I mean, yeah, it's different. I can perceive the difference between a collector that owns a lot of piece from you and just a number that has a lot of tokens that doesn't represent any art or anything. It feels like an analytics that help determine the level of implication of someone into what you're doing beyond collecting a lot of art.
Hey, Dad, by the way, I sent you some token. You should be good. Unless I sent it to unless that address you sent me wasn't right. Oh, you got it. All right, let's go. Yeah, you get a little. There's a bunch of unreleased stuff in there. There's that you get a little World 2 teaser. You get a little you get some 3 songs in there, I'm pretty sure, that are just literally unreleased. One of which is very, very rude, but one of which I love. And then the other one's just cool. And then also there's 12 videos. So anybody with my token can go to this page, by the way. So that's what Dab Dragon's looking at right here. Anybody who has my token. See, I don't even fucking tell people. This page has been built for like months. And I just haven't really, I've updated it as I go, but like I just don't tell anybody anything because I'm really bad at it. But yeah, if you go to this page though, you'll be able to see some exclusive oh, Dab, don't even worry about it, my man. Like, it's not you. I'm saying that I'm bad at just telling people what's going on. But there's 12 exclusive videos on there. Unreleased stuff, music videos. There's bonus content like behind the scenes. By the way, you can watch the first Song Camp documentary. If you guys know what Song Camp is, it's the thing I've been talking shit about for the last month because I was a part of it. But the newest camp. But the first camp, I was a part of that. And I've actually filmed like my entire experience with it, and it's on there, and there's an entire fucking hour and a half long documentary on it, and it's great. I don't know who this is, but it says Whip Whale. That sounds like this guy. That sounds like he's important, and he's got the dragon. This guy's got dragon energy. Did I miss the world? Musashi, you did not miss the worlds. Don't worry, my man. I don't know what you mean by that. Did you miss the worlds? I am not 100% certain what you mean by that, but no, I don't think you did. No, you didn't. But nonetheless, yeah. Sorry, I'm like talking a lot about just the website and stuff, and it's fun though. It's fun. It's a lot of stuff that this is kind of why I want to like start my own little thing. That way I don't have to like cut into us just ranting. Even though it is 8:30, we're well off the rails at this point. And if you don't know what that means, basically Mighty and I, we go off the rails at some point where there's no reeling us back in. You have no idea what we're going to talk about. We could start talking about the size of the earth, if you know what I mean. I don't want to go there though. I don't want to go there. I'm JKing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And yeah, I've been delighted to discover those little contents hidden behind the levels gating, because yeah, I really find that's a good mechanism. So
hell yeah. But it's that gating comes from, just literally being like a basic supporter, like a basic fan. You don't have to buy anything. There's no like the support just simply is earned, right? Wow, Bab wants in, huh?
yeah.
Bab, I don't know if you've earned it. I'm sorry to tell you, Bab, I don't think you've earned it. Maybe I'll give you a little bit for being here, though. I'll give you a little something. I don't think you're gonna get the 3,000 though. Not today. Some of you deserve the 3K. Like Trizlet, for example. It's a guarantee. It's a guaranteed W. But Bab, I don't know. I feel like Bab, I can't say you've earned it. It's hard for me to say.
And yeah, about being... Yeah, go ahead.
No. Sorry. Just saw the XP points. No, I was just gonna say. I thought we were gonna derail into Earth facts. Oh, look at that picture of the Earth. Is that legit?
Yeah, but before and when it comes to getting off the rails, I was curious to, have your thought about this very particular bounce of one of the tracks I made during the past months, because that's the feeling, to resume during this past month, since last summer, basically since the MVMF, and then working on the crypto music history exhibition, I pretty much was into research mode and active into the space, but not much creating, and that misses me a lot. So sometime in 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, during that process, I was doing little music just to exercise basically the roller coaster in the space, and also capture those very specific moments that I was going through in my journey. And but it was really like pure channeling. Like I did all these little snippets or loops or stuff really by exercising what I was living at the time. And so there was I took the time this month, basically last week, to review all of them and bounce all these ideas, like put them more in shape. It's like having very raw drawings somewhere that you leave somewhere in your room and never look at them back again. And 6 months or a year later, you open that box and it's way clearer. Uh, like you take those little sketches and you redraw a little bit on top of them, so you really highlight what you meant at the time and try to sublime those feelings and stuff. And I came out with like 50 tracks, and now I'm trying to figure out which ones are the best and which one I want to move forward and stuff. So that's basically a snippet into what I'm working towards when it comes to creating music again. And yeah, there was a few surprises when I redraw those sketches a little bit to export them just so they are listenable when I, you know, go for a walk outside and just re-dive into the idea. And so some of the rework before the bounces, most of them were not, doing much because the thing was already there, but some of them was a little dusty and very raw, and so I had to, take an hour or two to really highlight what I meant by this idea back then when I was doing it. And so at the end of the process, there's a couple of them that really was like, that left me with a feeling of, wow, something is happening here, and I didn't realize it back then when I did it. And I really want to embrace it and try to highlight it as best as possible, as weird as it was. And uh, not that it is so weird, but like it's definitely kind of original or something new for me, or something that is powerful enough for me to feel that addictive feeling into the sound and be like, wow, like I'm really addicted to this song and I want to play it again and again, or this loop or demo, because at this point I haven't I there is no voice whatsoever in any of these. It's just ambiances and sounds, basically. Not really ambiances, because that's really that is kind of pop and I don't know, you would say radiophonic maybe. But yeah, we can get to it. And there's very one in particular that left me with a feeling of like, wow, this is new and somehow frightening a little bit in the mood. Like I haven't listened to something similar uh, anywhere, or I don't know. So I was like, yeah, I want to move forward with this, but I really want to respect the vibe. You will understand when you listen to it. Um, how do you say? Lock your seatbelt, because that's I don't. That's particular. but there is something to it that is you will hopefully you will catch it, and yeah, I'm curious about your first feeling about this one. So yeah, I talked enough. I might play it, but yeah, just wanted to highlight the and explain the process first, but also what you're about to hear, and so that I'm not really responsible over that sound. It was just like pure channeling, and now I'm trying to shape the gem so it is what it's meant to be. I don't know how to say it, but that's my way to make music, and yeah, so have a
Well,
little
I'm
bit of
fucking
imagination to see where this can move forward. But this one in particular, I really wanted to share in advance and have your thought. And yeah, that's a snippet of potentially what what will be my next releases as NFTs. And so yeah,
let's go.
and
Let's go. I'm very excited.
so
And
to
I
yeah,
love what you were saying about the 50 demos, finishing them all up. I know that we've had that we've been down that road, and I know uh how exciting that can be. It's also a workload, but at the same time, um I'm excited for the energy that you shared within that group chat that one day about this as well. And I'm just hyped up to make some music together, like really, really collaborate on this stuff. And I'm just hyped to hear some of this stuff right now. Get excited, get some ideas sparked right now. I'm gonna bust the voice memos out, mute my mic, and go ahead and do a little freestyle and see if I can even catch some stuff off this play right here, right now,
mhm.
because I'm hyped up.
And so just to a little bit of context, so I said I was like channeling 10 minutes there, 10 minutes here. And so this one in particular was at the moment where I was trying to avoid seeing, you know, occultic symbols into the entertainment industry in general, because I've, you know, enough of that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to stay away a little bit from that chase that I had the past years to try to map this world out, and so I try to forget it a little bit. That's what I do sometimes when I'm enough of it. But once again, and always, I have this feeling of somehow it pops out on my screen, and I see some occultic implementation in the entertainment industry, whether it's music, film, video, however, it never goes away from my environment, and so I keep seeing these all seeing eye into the craft of mainstream stuff, and I'm like, oh, here it goes again. And so that, and I had this feeling in Web3 as well, where for a while it was like quite cool. There was nothing, you know, too fishy, and then, you know, the big dogs arrived, and you start to see popping out, yeah, occultic symbolic in the NFT world, and so uh, that was the feeling captured in this particular track. And so there's a kind of a frightening vibe into it that can tell this very feeling. And well, you will tell me, I'm gonna play the track, but that was the context of this one.
Let's go. I'm hyped.
was it? So I hope you're
Oh
not too
man.
scared. But yeah,
Oh
that's
man.
basically the contagious
Oh
of
man,
the rage can I captured here
bro.
the of the
I
situation.
fucking
Basically.
bro. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped to like. I don't know if you. I don't know what your like plans are exactly with every song, but like every time I'm hearing these, I'm like, I'm hoping that like he's down to like let me like try something at least. Because dude, I'm listening to. I'm like, yo, these are insanity. These are the
This one
music.
was really felt like okay, something is going on here. I don't know what style it is. I don't know what kind of genre, or I don't know where I'm going with this. But I can feel like there. It's literally very telling of the energy. I
It's.
felt the rage of yeah. When I listen to this, I'm unstoppable of
I'm
whatever
so glad you're
bullshit
getting.
I'm
I'm
in
so
front of
glad.
me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're getting back in it, like in the way that you are. Just listening to the last 2 things that you've played on this show, like, to me and I mean, I know this goes without saying, but, like, I would say this too if we were fucking just me and you, but, like, dude, you're a beast, and, like, this shit is fire, and you need to be like, this is I'm so glad you're getting back into it, you know? I know that a lot of shit
Me too.
we tie ourselves up with doing a lot of shit, you know what I mean? Like, luckily for me, I prioritize making music, so, like, even if I am supposed to do other bullshit, like, I'm gonna fucking still make songs. So like you can't really stop me from creating. But like I love, hearing what you're making and like knowing that you're back into it and you're chefing this shit up because they're both just the last 2 things I've heard are just so unique and like they just scream like I mean, there's just so much sophistication there. Like you really like. I mean, like I said, I don't need to fucking say this, but I feel like other people need to hear. Is like you really do this. You know what I'm saying? You're not just you don't just do all this other stuff. Like you really be doing this, and like you need to do it more. Like you need to fucking. We need to let them know. We need to let them know. You know what I'm saying? It's just unique shit. It's just unique shit, and like I don't think many people might even be able to see that right there, right then. And that's fine. Maybe I'm hyping it for myself. I'm just hyped up to hear that, and I already know what the first one sounded like, and I already got that one, and I'm hyped up for that one. I don't want to fucking get on every one of the tracks now, but don't get me wrong. If you keep sending me, if I keep hearing shit like this, I'm gonna put my shit all over this album because this shit is so fire. But
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm just hyped up to hear it, and I'm excited that you're back into it because when you have that, you need to do that shit. You wouldn't make that stuff. Like what I don't think people understand about creatives. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe I'm just like hyping right now, but like I feel like what a creative that creates like this, like we need to do that shit. It's not a
Mhm.
matter of like we can, of
Yeah,
course that's
that's
part
what
of
I
it.
say by channeling, and it was just an exorcism. And to me, the best way to capture music and feelings, really emotions, pure raw emotions, and create something unique. It's 1 out of 10 time because on most of the songs I made
Yeah,
during that time, there was really different energies, and only a few are really outstanding. But when it
yeah,
occurs, you can really feel it, and yeah, that's not that I need, or it's just uh, happening in a process of training yourself to capture your surroundings in music, which I've worked on for a long time. But yeah, it's also a need as a human to yeah paint your emotions because there is no other way for you at that particular uh, point in time to do so in a different way, and that's a great way to use it in the benefit of music to create yeah really unique stuff. But I really appreciate your energy about it because that I thought that you would enjoy this one, and I'm happy if you do. And I still have no particular plans yet. I'm still thinking about it. I think I will be able to be more precise maybe in September. But I'm definitely you can work on anything you want. Like we are pre-show, and I'm open to any idea, and I would love to do more things together. As we've talked about, we did so much outside of music, uh, so yeah,
fuck is
that
that
might be the
noise?
time, and I'm really happy to come back doing more music. Yeah, help these gems take shape and be shipped to destination. to let them
Dude,
know. Tell them.
I'm
Tell them.
just
Shout out to Connie.
yeah, exactly. No, exactly, bro.
And this
Exactly,
energy
bro.
cannot come out of the studio. This particular track in general.
Louis says that's the noise of a corporate email, bro. That's literally what it is. 100% what it is. It's fucking such a corporate ass email. I'm
Outlook.
pissed.
Good old Outlook.
No, I just love what you just said though. Let them fucking know because that's, bro. That's like what it's about. You know, you did we did so much shit the last 7 months, half of which is amazing, but like, it's just a matter of like, you know, the MVMF was dope. You know, after that we had like a little breather. Then you did the fucking museum, and that shit was intensive. And I know that it was kind of like a little bit of a time period to like chill out, step back, and like relax. But then like I know that there's that itch to like just let them know, like you wanted to let them know with the history, and you did that. And then what happened? We get our fucking dick roads by fucking some schlup in our DMs who can't even do basic research, like a fucking chump. Fuck that guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but fuck that guy. And either way, the point is, and now what? And now what? Like, and we still get and what happened after that? By the way, Mighty, what happened after that? You know, nothing. Because he's a fucking chump, dude. He just wanted to fucking make sure that you weren't out to get him. And of course you're not. Yeah, F that guy. No, but like Mighty has, yeah. So like the whole part about that's like just so hyped to me is that like this is exactly what I feel like you've been building up, and I'm just so excited to see it happen and to see where we're going with this, because it's just gonna be an absolute fucking domination fest. Like that's what we always should be focused on anyways. And as we are, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I can't really even say that I don't. I'm 99% of the time I'm focused on music, which is why probably a lot of people might have trouble getting me to do other things. I mean, but so like it's, I can't like, I'm always working on something, but it's just amazing to see that you're smacking it. And I'm just hyped up. I'm just hyped up because we're going to fucking do exactly what you said. And that's let them know. And that's it, you know? Tell them, right? You know, like the Connie track. It's like we told him, now it's time to tell him again, and then we're gonna tell him a third time, and then after the third time, we're gonna give him a breather for like a couple weeks, and then we're gonna tell him a fucking fourth time, because that's what we do. But I'm just hyped up. I'm excited to see that you're in creative mode, because I know you've been talking about it for so long, and I know that it's just all up in there. And I'm sure you were creating the whole time. But like you said, something that I feel like is a gem that maybe some people miss, by the way, is you said 1 out of every 10. That's so true. Like, if there are like, and I know like the ones who are out here creating every day know this, but like that's why you got to just create all the time, because 1 out of every 10 is actually something, you know. That doesn't mean you don't do anything with the other 9. You know, put it all out in some respect, but you know, it really is like 1 out of every 10 is where you're gonna find the gold. Like, it's not average, even when, and that's also a personal thing too. You know what I mean? Like, you're only gonna be a bigger critic to your own music and to your own creations every time you sit down. So it's just, oh my god, dude, what is? I need to get rid of this corporate email before I actually lose my fucking mind. Can't have that 1 out of 10 without the other 9. Exactly, 100%. And you can't, and also you can't hate on the on the other 9. This sounds disgusting.
Yeah, because they represent you as well as much. So yeah, it's about fine tuning.
And look, and you know, Mighty, to be honest with you, bro, like I bet that the other 9 still do slap. You know what I mean? Just in a different way that probably maybe isn't
enjoy them too. But when you dig for those outstanding stuff, you have to think differently and step back just to identify the best ones and why they are so, etc., and why you should move forward with them or not. But do like the other 9 as much, more or less, for sure. But there is something. It was me as well. It was different emotions. It was different point in time, and that's fine as well. I would love to release them all a way or another. So that's not the question. But when it comes to the things, when we talk about that spiritual battle and playing the high level game, the all-star game, you might have to need to step back and look at which ones are the one out of 10 and move forward cautiously as you plan to match your plans or whatever. But here, yeah, the message, and I would love to move forward from that first album into the tell them, even though I'm not a great writer. So that's also a great part of why I would love to do things with you on the text. So I'm feel like
Bro, we
you
should.
could be the best, my best interpret rather than me writing what I'm trying to put on words. But I'm not the
Dude.
best at it. But yeah, that's
So down.
definitely a
So down.
feel.
I actually just had an idea that I've been doing with. So I've been working with a few dudes I met from the Chaos Camp. Some of the fucking professionals that get it, like me and like there's only 5 of us that like really all kind of beef about like everything that went on. So I've been working with them like in sessions, and what I recently have been doing is like we'll make the beat and shit, and like usually I would write by myself, but what I've been doing is I'll live stream and I will get everything set up on my end, like my vocal mix down and shit, and I'll record with them there. And like imagine like we take like a beat of yours, we bounce it out, we put it into a session, and like we have a session live, and I just sit there and I'll write with you right there live, like
Yeah.
and I'll just do it all live, like and I'll just like record and shit, and we'll be like, yo, do you like that? Like what do you think about lyrics? Like what's the direction? Like that could be fun as hell. Because that's something
Absolutely.
it's a totally new, it's a new like idea. Like I haven't really done it super well,
And we can
but
record it and make it a making of.
bro, exactly. You're already on the same page. We're already on the same page. Wait a tick. Wait, hold up now. Wait, hold up now. Hold up now. Turns out that corporate email fucking ping. Wow. We need to sound the alarm for Caroline Duh right now. Sound the alarm.
I think I understand what's going on.
Unreal. Yeah, I'd see. Like I don't even know what to say. But Carolina, thank you so much. Carolina just snagged one of the additions. That's it feels amazing because Carolina
Someone's listening.
If there's anybody in here that's been like one of like Carolina was like one of the first people that was like in my Discord, like always like clicking things, and I didn't even really know at the time who anybody was, and I was always like, yo, like I feel like she's always like the first one to do something, and I was like, yo, that is incredible, and I've always noticed it, and so I appreciate that so much. Let's go. Let's get another one going. Come on. I don't mean another bye, by the way. I mean like let's get another cheer crowd. Fuck. No, I'm hyped. Caroline, I'm gonna DM you later. But yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. I appreciate that heavily. And by the way, yeah, you let me know what shape you want because you got Father's Tune, which is sick. So you can pick any shape you want, and we'll go from there. But yeah, no, that's so nice. That's so nice. I mean, like, dude, I don't think you guys get it. I don't think you guys. I don't feel it the same way. Like I'm telling you, when I had my first sale ever as an NFT from a 1 of 1 was ridiculous, and I literally was mad about it. I actually have it filmed, by the way. Swear to God, the countdown or on the timer, I filmed it, and I was like, wow, I couldn't be less happy about this. But these are the type of things that I actually feel like mean more than any of it. It's like the people that I'm always here with, we're out here, we fucking do this shit together, we're a fam, and then you guys decide to support in a grand way like that. I feel like that just means the most, and it's why I like want to just like do the dopest shit and fucking this is what I'm saying. Like I want to see those people succeed and win just as much for myself as I want to do for them. But I wouldn't say the same for my one of one holders. Not to say that I don't want to see those also do well, because that would be antithetical to you guys also, us all succeeding. But my point is just like they're just weirdos. I don't know. You know, who does that and then never talks to me? That's a weirdo move. It's a weirdo fucking move. But yes, I just wanted to share those. I appreciate it heavily. Louis, I appreciate you stopping by, my man.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
But yeah, shout out to Carolina one more time. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. And I couldn't be happier. That's incredible, guy. I mean, that's incredible. Sorry, I don't even know how to handle it. I feel awkward.
Yeah, that's part of the new fields as artists with this new world, which is pretty crazy because, yeah, there's so much emotions that are so at the opposite of whatever the Web 2 has ever created for music, in terms of relationship with people, with your audience, with your own close friends and stuff. The way you share with it, that's you don't know how to handle it. that's the point, and that's why I believe also many of our talks about, you know, how do you feel when you sell high or low? How do you sleep at night after when you do all this stuff? And sometimes, you know, meet a crazy opportunity that is totally abstract or crazy compared to the reality, and yeah, you don't know how to handle it. And personally, I always felt like I'd rather be cautious about it and not provoke too much or chase, you know, the craziest moves, even though I could have, and I told myself that many times I could definitely have been a millionaire and way beyond if I had only listened to my trading mind. And I today don't have a million because I always focused on
because you sold that damn quant, Mighty. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't even want to remind you, but dude, I was sitting there pissed off watching it just rip the last 2 weeks. I was so mad because like last time it was.
I did re-enter at some point because I was like, okay, never mind. But
you savage, dude, because it was down to like $40 at one point, and I remember and I remember when it was at $40, you were telling me, this was like 2 years ago. You were like, yeah, you should like buy quant, and I was like, oh, like okay. But by the way, not financial advice. We're just ripping out fake combos. We don't know anything, okay, guys? We don't know shit. But you told me to buy it, and then I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then when everything crashed during July of last year, literally the only thing that pumped was quant, and it went from like $50 to like $400. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was so upset about it because you told me to do it and I just didn't know what to do. I had never done it before. And now that I saw it back down at 40, I was like, well, maybe it's over with. And then of course
the beast woke up, like, yeah,
it went from 40 to like 100, and now it's at like 110 in a matter of like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like I'm, or like, well, it was like a week, but just ridiculous. Which, by the way, guys, this is super, super random. But last year, I don't know if anybody remembers this. My landlord was trying to kick me out of this house. He's trying to do the same thing again this month. He fucking showed my house to some dude yesterday. And he called me today and he's like, hey, they're going to take the place. I was like, dude, what are you fucking talking about, dude? I live here. I was like, you can't just like rent my house out while I live here. So I was like, I just like desperately, I was like, dude, whatever they're paying, tell them I'm outbidding them. I don't give a fuck what they're paying. I'm taking it all. I'm not allowing them to live here. I was like, dude, I can't move. I was like, dude, I live here because it's so cheap. I was like, I can't go, like, pretty much like where I live in Pittsburgh is like the cheapest area possible. at least, and I'm like super south of the city, and I have a whole house to myself. And so the only way I could get a house in like by myself is if I was in this area. And so if I get so I basically told the dude, I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck what he's paying. I will outbid him because I am not leaving this fucking house. Because if I moved from here to anywhere near the city, I'd be paying double, probably more than double in rent. And there's no chance I'm doing that. So I had to fucking figure that out. So we'll see what happens. But that was last year. That was the same time period. Same time period. I don't know what this guy goes through every summer, but apparently he has like, I don't know, apparently he's got beef every single July. So hopefully he calls me tomorrow and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I was just kidding." That would be sick because I swear to God, if this guy tries to get me to move, what a piece of shit too. I've been here for a year and a half. Like what? Like, dude, where's your loyalty? Where's your loyalty at? I've never not paid you, and you're over here basically trying to like rent my house out. And by the way, guys, I know everybody's thinking it's like, do you have a lease? Well, no, and that's on both of us because he basically was like, we'll just do a month to month. And meanwhile, that was a benefit to him because now if he wants to, at any given time, he can basically be like, all right, you have 30 days and you have to move. Like, dude, no, that's fucked up. That's real fucked. But no, I appreciate all tracks pretty fire. Hard to just pick one. I appreciate it. Honestly, like, I think I might, like, depending on how this plays out, I may just like find a way to give anybody who holds one like another one. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but like, and I'd have to wait a little bit, but like when World 2 is like coming around the corner, let's just say if there's like a few left, which I'm assuming there probably will be a few, I'll probably end up, whoever has one will probably get first dibs. We'll figure that out though. But I'm definitely keen on figuring that if that occurs, if there's like nothing else to it, because I would love to see the people who collected just get another one because you deserve it. And I'm just hyped up and I love it. Mighty honestly deserves every single one of them just because he was literally there for every single one of these tracks. I mean, Mighty was like the first person who ever heard all of these songs and was like, yo, I don't know who you are, but like these are something special. And I feel, I don't know, we vibed heavy that first call. It was like a 3-hour call. We talked about wild shit, but like also I just remember a lot of very like genuinely positive things being stated, and it felt good to connect with someone. And I was going through it at the time. Dude, there's that corporate email again. This time I honestly don't think it's like a good idea to even peep. All right. I peeped that one, and now I see that. All right. Now you guys are just now you guys are just fucking with me. Now you guys are just fucking with me. I don't know. Hold on. All right, guys, you gotta chill out. All right, you gotta chill out. All right.
Another one.
I'm not. All right, yo. Come on. I'm gonna tear up. Hold on. I gotta figure out who this is. I'm gonna lose my mind. Come on now. Come on, guys. Come on now. Yeah. Trizlet, come on. Give it to him. I mean, come on, guys. This is incredible. I mean, honestly, like I feel like borderline awkward, but I just like, I mean, this is incredible. I first Carolina comes through, which is just beautiful because I literally feel like she was like the first person like in the Discord that was like fucking with some shit, and I thought that was amazing. So that support alone is incredible. Trizlet now comes in here and saves Token Smart's whole ass life, which I don't know how much of that I can even say. And now you're out here supporting. I appreciate that shit so much. We're taking this shit to the top. Guys. That's all I can say. I don't know really what else to say, but we're taking it to the top. And I appreciate it. Yeah. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure I know Carolina knows this. But Trizlet, if you did not know this, which you'll both, I'll have to DM both of you, and we'll get the details. But just so you guys are both aware, you get a physical game cartridge with this. I don't know if you knew this, but I actually made a video game. And I mean, look, if you don't have a Game Boy, you're not going to be able to play it. But Trizlet, you're gonna like for example, Trizlet, you'll get that yellow one, whereas Carolina will get the Father's Tune one, which I'll have to. That one's in a different picture. I just wanted to take one picture that was of this shapes, but yes, that's it's incredible. I actually have an original Game Boy. Well, you're gonna play the My World game. This is fucking incredible. You're gonna play the game. This is hilarious. If you know what's funny is nobody. I don't think anybody has actually played this game yet, and I'm about to find. Musashi says that I missed the first drop. No, I don't know what you mean by that, because I think, is that what you meant in the Discord when you sent that message that I missed the Worlds? No. I mean, you may have. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, Carolina just shared that link. Oh, okay, yeah, Musashi. Those are the one of ones. Those are inaccessible to the majority of human beings that are alive right now. Those are for those are for your whales, your whale collectors. Those are the golds. Those are the gold standards. Don't get me wrong, if you have those will benefit you long term in a way that I can't legally say. But that doesn't mean that they that doesn't mean that I think that you should do it. I'm just saying, if you can, whatever, do your thing. But I'm telling you, I created the world. I created the additions model for the people that are here to support on a lower level, so to speak. I'm too poor for those. Yeah, it's same, bro. Same. And I don't even want to see people in here fucking pull that. Don't get me wrong, I actually would, but at the same time, I really wouldn't. But the lower level, I don't want to say lower level. That's a disrespectful thing to say. But it's like these are the additions for people who wanted to collect, but they probably just felt like they were priced out when those one of ones dropped. And I probably did feel like, and then I was gonna do additions like a month or two later, but then I never got onto sound, so I had to wait like months, and so that's probably why it took me a long time. Why it happened. When I can afford it, I'll be holding one. You're talking about a gold? You're wowed. Musashi, I actually have to DM you too about the Avogachis. Yes, which I'm very interested in. I don't really know much about them, but it looks interesting, and we'll talk about it because it could be a spot for me to potentially build some things with my world in the game. But until then, we'll figure it out. Until then, but man, I once again, I gotta say thank you to Carolina and Trizlet here. You guys are fucking legends, and I'm just hyped up. I'm also hyped up that Trizlet snagged fucking Silence. I'm shocked that song gets so slept on. I feel like it's one of my favorite tunes. I mean, Father's Tune is quite clearly the crowd favorite, which that's why it is what it is. But also, yeah, I'm just hyped. I'm hyped. Honestly, the most slept on song is Con Man. I mean, I know Mighty probably agrees with me there. I think Con Man is the slapper of the whole album, but that's my personal opinion. But that one hits solid. I mean, that one does slap.
I'm between Leave, Con Man, and Silence. That might be my top 3, I believe.
Yeah, we're on this. Me and you like the same sounds, which is why I think you really liked Cursive. When I sent it in the chat the other day, that one is kind of like that too. It's got like that dark feel, like the beats like very dark, like it's got like those creepy, like diminished, like harmonic chords and shit. It's good. It feels really good. Official ambassador and guild leader. You were supposed to follow up with probably nothing. Official ambassador and guild leader and alpha tester, sir. Oh shit! Whoa! Who put all these emojis? Jesus. Damn. No, I mean, I'm hyped. I don't even really know what that means, but I'm hyped up. I always knew that your avatar was an Avogachii. I just didn't know what exactly that was. but now I do, and I'm hyped about it.
Yeah, I never really understood or digged into what it is. I've seen it a lot, but haven't really digged about what it is exactly. Maybe we get into that next time.
Yeah, so I mean, to be transparent, like what I've been looking into is I'm looking into it in the sense is it I'm looking for a place to build a digital my world. So if it's not the way that I'm building it now, so I'm consulting this dude right now who like raised this price like 3x on me, which I thought was ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, everybody I guess is low on fiat, but either way, this guy who's like actually really well known. He's like a pretty well like known like game developer, not game developer, a game design developer. It's hard to describe. He's like a producer, right? He's like a game producer. Like he sits back and he'll give you timeline, budget, and he'll give you like the layout for your devs and for investors. But I don't really need both of those. I just need a good layout so that when I talk to these people, I can actually find my way to like give them the actual the game plan, and I'm not like talking to an amateur and then they quit halfway through the game and then I'm left with a half finished game, which is fine, but it's like a little bit it leaves me in a tight spot. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to get this guy to we're actually supposed to sit down this week. I don't know exactly what his schedule is, but he's been kind of he's been like super busy, did all kinds of weird shit. I got you, bro. I'm a metaverse builder. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, basically, I'm trying to build my world and then let holders be the members within this world. And then, for example, when we were talking about the derivative NFTs earlier, like, for example, if you're a holder and then you get one of these snippet derivative versions, not only are those like ways to spread the song, but those tokens will also gate access to playing these games. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 type of concept here. Once again, my world is obviously music, but it will also be game. I gotta go, but we'll talk. Yeah, I'll hit you up, bro. I'll hit you up, but I definitely will, 100%.
Bye, Musashi.
I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I need to find a way to like be able to drop tokens to people who come to these fucking events. We'll figure it out. But yeah, no. Damn, you guys are wild. You guys are wild. You guys can't do that when I'm live. You guys can't do that when we're live like this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'll fucking I'll turn my camera on right now and get naked. I'm kidding. JK. Big JK. Don't fucking sue me. Don't sue me. Don't sue me. Dragon Knight says do it. Man, you gotta come out and present your whole thing at Super Design Dev Music Fashion Festival, September 24th. That sounds sick. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Come out and present your whole thing at Super Designer Dev Music Fashion Festival. Is it really called Super Designer Dev Music Fashion Festival? That's the official name. That's crazy. I mean, that's a hilarious name of a festival.
Yeah, the SDDMF. I was thinking of it. Yeah.
My God, dude, that's hilarious. Thank God, man. It just made me think of the MVMF and what we used to. The super blah blah is how I describe it. Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels. Super Designer Dev Music Fashion Festival. It sounds sick though. I'm super down. Like honestly, like September 24th. Like I'll probably be in a whole different be in a whole different universe by then. But I'm definitely down. I just need to learn about whatever that is. But I'm so down. Easily down. We're doing it at Thunder Studios. Is this in real life? Is that what you're is this like a real life event? I'm all about our IRL. Let's fucking go, dude. Jax, I gotta come to one of these jazz events, by the way. I'm super down. I'm super down to go. I'm mad as fuck that I missed everybody. I only got to see the Token Smart crew one night. And I was a little bit shroomed out at the end of that night. We had a good time though. We did still have a good time, but I'm mad as hell I didn't get to come to the whip the next day. Also IRL. That's fire. Jax, if you ever need a guitarist, by the way, dude, I'm in, dude. I'm like, I think it's a real jazz guitarist would be disrespected if I said I was a jazz guitarist, but I do play jazz. I mean, I went to college for guitar. I just turned into a music producer after the fact. You got to see what we're doing out here, Mai. I'm down, dude. I'm with it. I've seen the videos. You guys definitely crush.
Yeah, I agree. Everything I see, I love it.
I'm super with it. I would
That's
love it. I
sometimes
honestly,
frustrating to be out there in Paris, even though I love it, and I would love all of you to be down there. I imagine it
I'm coming.
sometime, but
I'm
yeah,
I'm coming
sometime.
to Paris.
But some
I'm
stuff
coming to.
seems to be, I would have loved to be in New York, for example, or go down to LA as well for meeting some of the people. But yeah, that's how it is.
I'm down for all of it. I would love to come to Paris though, and if I went to Paris, I would stop in Italy. I need to go to Italy too. I feel like if I go to Italy though, I'll never leave. I really do. I feel like I'll belong. I don't think. Look, I mean, if I'm being honest, and I think most people in here probably would feel this too. I don't know how much America is really the spot. You know, I don't hate where I live. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't love where I live. I'm just saying, like, I really do think that long term, though, I think it would be amazing to live in like a real sick ass, like, low key foreign place. I know that sounds maybe American as fuck of me to say, but
No,
in Paris,
I feel the same.
Paris wouldn't count though. Paris would be like a city, whereas like I'm not really trying to live in like a city. I'd be more like interested in like Sicily. Honestly, I mean I'm a Sicilian,
Hmm.
so maybe that's like maybe I'm like a little biased, but like a very very like low key ass beach ass area
Hmm.
of Sicily. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I
Go for it.
cannot
Or do
disagree with that. Like, what's cool in Paris is the energy, but for a living, that's not somewhere you wish to stay and enjoy really, because that really is draining all your energy to the lowest vibrations possible, in a very subtle way, because it has been, whatever. It's very subtle. You don't feel it right away, but if you stay there 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you might feel very quickly a bit depressed without even understanding what happened to you. And I've, built a protection around that, and which makes this city like an aquarium for me, and so I can really see through and enjoy the beyond that magic craft that the city does to you. But long term, yeah, it feels way better to be like like you said, a low key, kind of uh, foreign destination that is way more healthier for your everyday life. But having you in Paris would
right.
be crazy for very specifically this energy that this city does to you, and is as well so creative in a sense when you embrace it the right way, and
I
have
mean,
mad parties. Yeah,
we would go nuts.
yeah. It's not even about parties, because there's no much great parties anymore in Paris. It's more about, yeah, enjoying the city a certain way, um, by exploring and enjoying the very small features that this unique city can provide you in terms of interaction with people or whatever can happen there. But yeah, that would be, you would be my host No, I would be your host. I mean, if you come and I would be your guide to enjoy
I'd
it to
probably
the
get
fullest.
I'd probably get I'd probably get arrested out there though. Like, don't you think?
Why do
I
you
bought
think that?
I don't know. I feel like most places are like super strict and they don't like people like me.
Oh
Even in my
no.
even in my own even in my own area, I feel like every time I leave my house, I'm fucking at risk just because of the way I move. I'm not like dangerous. I'm not like breaking laws. I'm just saying that I feel as if
No, you
like for
wouldn't be in trouble here because you're definitely not the target. The
oh, you
authorities are looking to disturb the most. But yeah, I understand what you say, and if that is depending on the situation, you can easily, be considered as a clumsy American that is not
yes.
uh, aware of the rules.
I will have to find the balance of those, but yeah. By the way, Chiz, I just dropped you your digital wearable. Which Carolina, like I said, I'll DM you so that we'll figure out the rest. By the way, I'm gonna have to DM both of you, and if you want to, you don't have to. I'm gonna need a physical address so that I can actually send you these physical cartridges. The last guy who bought one, I feel like he doesn't want me to give. I feel like he doesn't want to give me his physical address, which makes sense. Totally makes sense. But Dragonate, that's big facts right there. Actually, the real ones laugh. Like, dude, when I'm playing live, if everybody on stage is laughing at each other, it's because somebody just crushed it. Somebody's just smashing it. If everybody's just laughing, like, yo, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. Dude, playing music live is the most fun thing on the planet, period. 100%. And I miss it more than anything. And it sucks that, like, the music that I put out and make, playing it live would not be nearly as fun as like just playing like jazz music live. Like jazz live is the most fun music to play because it's completely free, especially when it's like a trio, bass, drums, guitar. Like it's the best because then the guitarist has full harmonic range, the drums keep it locked, and then you got bass just holding down the bass notes so I can just do whatever I want harmonically, as long as I know the chords. Why no sitar? Sitar can join. I'm not against the sitar. Musicians speak to each other without speaking.
Yeah.
100%.
But not only to musicians, but to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, wow.
I had to read that twice because that was what was written. So my bad.
Incredible. I mean, Jesus. God, you guys are I incredible. What an incredible show. Yeah. I'm feeling very grateful for the squad and just excited to fucking do some dope shit. Even though like we're just going to keep doing what we do. That's really what it is. We're just going to keep doing what we do. And I'm also mega fucking hyped to jump in on these new tracks from that you have played. The first one I'm definitely smashing. That second one you played, I'm willing to smash. I was even listening to it. I was even thinking like Connie could probably smack a verse on that. Like it's so hard. When that hi-hat and clap come in, they're like so dry on top of that fucking incredibly hard low hitting bass that's like just hitting that same note. It's just a headbanger. And then it goes into those chords
Very
that like
Muse style.
Yeah, bro, exactly. I was like, yo, you could sing some real subtle, like real sultry shit over that.
Yeah.
And then go right back into the other stuff. That's what I mean, where it's like, dude, the stuff that you've played recently is so sophisticated. It just reminds me of why we vibe and why I trust you to master my music. Like, that's like the whole thing here. Like, I trust that, and that's what matters. And that's and I love that. I get hyped up about it.
But
Anyone know how bird
thank
shit
you.
splattered on my window could possibly be pink/purplish? Probably eating some weird shit, dude. I mean, it's a bird. You know what I mean? I'm actually pretty sure that bird shit is like typically some weird ass color.
Or it's genetically modified birds. Maybe
That's a good point.
They're out there these days. Who knows?
CERN bird.
Yeah.
I like that. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, I'm hyped up. Damn, we've been at it. We've been at it. It's 9:30. It doesn't even feel like we've been at it for 3 hours tonight, but we have. I feel like this was a real good chat though. Like we really we therapied each other at the beginning. That was beautiful. You were like, something's up with you. You were like,
Yeah, I don't know.
You're acting.
Across the show, that kind of disappeared. That, like right now, and for the past hour or a little bit more, I feel I don't hear that thing anymore. I don't know. So maybe
I did. I definitely did get.
shamaned it a little.
I definitely did get more energy throughout the show, especially as we started to chat more with the crowd. I actually thought about that midway through. I was thinking, I was wondering if you were gonna mention anything, because I even noticed that my energy level changed, and also like once I saw a couple people, once I saw Carolina and Trizlet, that kind of obviously juiced me up. I was like, Jesus, like this is insane. So once again, shout out to you guys. That's fucking beautiful. But yeah, so I mean, maybe that was part of it, but I also did feel like even before that though, I did like kind of like wake up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But even still though, I'm still curious what
Yeah,
that
I
would
don't
have
know.
meant.
I don't know, but like it feels like you came back to your normal state in a sense throughout the show.
Well, now
And
I'm worried. Now I'm worried. Now I'm wondering if I was like fucking dying at the beginning
no,
of the show.
no, I don't know. It was a tense energy, but maybe, like I said, a little bit heavy. Something was a bit heavy, and that disappeared. And now I literally hear you like always, but back to normal. So I don't know.
You were falling
I
apart
can, I
at the mouth.
can, we record, so I, I, I may have missed the first minutes of recordings, but I can send you back at some point. So
No, I need to hear. I'm gonna probably listen back and be like, dude, I sounded like I was dying. Let's go, Dab Dragon. Dab Dragon, that's beautiful. Being Dab Dragon approved is arguably the greatest honor on the planet. By the way, you shared something that is private, but I love that. No, that's totally cool. I love that. I'm not saying that's bad. That's beautiful. That's exactly what I want the fam to do, because sharing those private videos, people will be like, "Yo, where'd you fucking find this video?" And then you're going to be like, "Well, it's gated, but I just shared it because I can do that." And that's exactly what I want. The gated videos, if you guys share them, go ahead. Share them up, because then it's a flex for you, because you're like, I'm the one who found this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's up to you. Kicked it back and listen. Job. Thank you, bro. See you later, Dab. See you later, Dabski.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
Glad to see you back, that dragon. In good shape.
It's exactly what Hexadize. Exactly. 100%.
Get your power up. Don't forget. Big shout out to Carolina. Like, yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. The last two po-ups, I don't know if you saw last week's po-up, but that shit was mega, dude. It was like one of my favorite. It was like a flat earther one, but like it was like a joke. It was great.
Yeah.
Bab, great work.
Really feel blessed by the energy here as always, and I feel like we have great days coming. Keeping grinding, and I mean, I couldn't feel more surrounded with everyday grinders and the best riders in the metaverse. So I want to thank anyone once again for being there tonight with us, and thank you, Mike, because like always, our interactions are very special and for us, but I believe even beyond us now, that's the feel, and that's great to feel. So yeah, I love to preserve that and make sure that I show respect to everyone interacting here with us, and yeah, keeping us rolling and improving every day.
Dude, thank you. Thank you. That it always means a lot when we get to really like dive in and share these conversations. And honestly, it's amazing that we get to share these conversations live with a group of
Mm,
people who are fucking who I feel like it's like a digital family. I mean, I genuinely feel very comfortable
mm,
in these environments to like really just share what's going on. And I said that even early. I was like, "Hey, like why not like let's talk about it." And I think like that's something that I feel like that's what this server like really like this whole entire server like really represents. And I feel like that's like that's what I'm hyped that we're gonna keep it going. And shout out to Trizlet as well, which is fucking incredible. It's like the first time I feel like he's probably come to the Mighty My show. Maybe not though. Maybe it's not his first time. Maybe I just have never noticed, but like, just the serendipity of it all, and here we are, and I just feel like it's just beautiful. And so yeah. Yeah, and thank you again to Carolina, as well as fucking Dab, as well as Trizlet, or Will Trizlet. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We are family. Yeah, but Mighty, yeah, no, it's dope, and I'm just hyped up. Like, let's rip it a few days this week. I mean, I don't know exactly what you got going on this week, but I think we should do that live session. I would be super super down for that. Like, that'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, absolutely. I should be around, and yeah, I should go in the countryside again, maybe around early August. But I would love to stay around here, quiet in Paris, still a week or two, and doing playing around some music. That was basically my plan for the next weekend. So staying here, and I would love to. So yeah, anytime we can sure do something like that.
Yeah, I'm super down. Honestly, super jelly that you have the opportunity to smack the countryside. Every time you say I'm going to the countryside, I'm like immediately jealous. I just feel like the countryside sounds super sick.
You would definitely enjoy it, yeah, because I go to destinations that are. I mean, I've been going seeing a friend last week, so it was a new destination for me. But the situation was cool, and we made our best. So it was, and enjoy actually the weekend, not half enjoying. So that was cool. But now I'm going to the family house next time, where I have done multiple Mighty My show from uh, from my mobile, and yeah, so that will be it. And that place in particular is very like the quiet type you described. That is really great to enjoy, because that's the place of the impressionist painters during the 20th centuries. The French impressionists uh, got their best inspiration from, and I'm really in the middle. The family house is there, so you really have those great landscapes that really inspire the French impressionists. And so yeah, that's a cool place. You would definitely love it. And if you're around, yeah, make sure you stay a month or two,
A month or two? Damn,
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah, I would say, because that
I'll
can
probably fall in
go
love.
quick.
You put me in Paris for a month, I'm probably gonna fall in love, and
But
probably out of love, all in one trip. Fall in and out of love.
yeah,
Probably gain one to two STDs. Cure one of them. The other one I'll probably take back to America. Spread that on the way back. Um, big jokes, big jokes. JK.
beautiful.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a wrap up.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. Good call. We're really up. We were off the rails of the crazy train on that one. But
So yeah, once again,
that's what happens.
that's crazy that we're here for more than 3 hours. So thanks again for messing around, and beyond the appearances, we do our best to stay relevant and on top of the cutting edge. So yeah, that's the journey. Music NFT to the moon. Let's go. Let's make it
Let's go.
happen.
We got 100%. We're gonna let them know, Mighty. We're gonna let them know. We're gonna let them know. You're gonna let them know, and it's gonna be hype. But yes, thank you to everybody again. Shout out to Caroline and Trislet. You guys are the best. It's incredible. I'm so excited. Also, of course, shout out to Hexadize, Dragonade. There's a bunch of people in the chat tonight, which was fucking lit. And shout out to Trislet. In general, I mean, this is this is really the first time I feel like you've been at the MightyMai show. Like I said, maybe this is the first time I've noticed. Not to say that you're maybe this might be your last show, and that's okay. But I definitely enjoyed seeing you here, and I just enjoy when the crowd's here. That's all. It makes it better for us because then we're not talking to ourselves, even though that's fun too sometimes. So, it's all good fun. But yeah, I lurk a lot. That's good stuff. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was very much so appreciated, and I'm excited for the future that we are going to be building here together.
Yeah, and I relate to the lurk attitude as well. So yeah, thanks for everything. So yeah, I want to wish everyone a good week, and yeah, meet next week. Stay safe, everyone. Watch those price actions. Seems like we are entering a turbulence zone again, going up before it completely crash. That financial advice, and see you on the other side. So
I
yeah,
totally agree. I totally agree.
bye bye everyone. Bye bye. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And
Bye bye.
should
will
I
slide into
play us out
comments.
with a track?
Play us out with something special.
Do you want another one from that folder?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, please.
I think I have a third one. Okay, so bye bye everyone. Go get the POAPs and see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. 3 hour and 42. That's we going wild. And once again, Trislit, if you have never heard that, we always claim to be the longest bye bye of the metaverse. So that's done.
The longest. Very true.
Bye bye everyone. Have a good week.
Bye bye.
save you like a screen capture. If life's a movie, I was made to play a key actor. Naturally, I shine while these other rappers need lacquer. Weak rappers, this the butcher, y'all just meat packers. And I don't feel you like a tree stump to a weed whacker. Screen hackers faking financial success, claiming bread.